The sanctuary of Delphi is probably the most extraordinary of all ancient Greek sites. Delphi amazes all who visit it. This place is the center of the world. The ancient Greeks called it the omphalos, which means the navel of the earth. Zeus, the father of the gods, wanted to find the center of the universe, so he sent two eagles flying from the opposite ends of the universe. And the place where they met was Delphi.
Welcome to Delphi, Indiana, where our storied past is fueling a stellar future.
Whenever and wherever human beings endure suffering and humiliation, sometimes we must interfere. When human lives are in danger, when human dignity is in jeopardy, wherever men or women are persecuted, that place must, at that moment, become the center of the universe.
No, I'm going to go on the record right now and say that they are trying to kill Rick Allen.
Yeah.
They want him to die.
Yeah.
It's like always like in and out, in and out. They don't want him. They don't want us to see it.
Because he's my size, chains and collars and leashes all over.
It's all about optics. You don't have all of those people around Rick Allen because they want to keep everybody else safe. They don't want us to see Rick Allen. They don't want us to look at Rick Allen. They don't want us to see his face and his eyes. Remember when he came in June and he was all doped up and he was dissociative and he was experiencing psychosis from being tortured and starved and sleep deprived and probably withheld his medication. All of these things that they were doing to him so that he would show up looking like a zombie and couldn't protest or assist in his defense. Guess what? The eyes of the world are on them. They're not allowed to do that to him anymore, and they have tried to break him. And Rick Allen, he's not going to break. Look at, he has done a year in solitary confinement. A year.
He's on the upside of things. Like if he's still alive, he's getting better every day.
His attorneys get thrown off the case, and he turns to his wife and he says, "It's okay. You didn't break him. You're not going to break him. He's not guilty. Whatever they're trying to do, you're hip to it. It is not going to happen."
Do you have any idea what their defense is going to be, given the fact that the judge has basically taken away their defense?
Am I the only person in the world talking about attacking the timeline,
Do you have any idea what their defense is going to be, given the fact that the judge has basically taken away their defense?
Like, am I in crazy?
Challenge the timeline of the murders.
Talking about attacking the timeline.
The consensus has been challenge the timeline of the murders. Challenge the timeline of the murders.
Hi. How's everybody doing? I love that song. It is Monday,
October 14th, 2024. Any updates? I know people who are tuning in are looking probably for super quick updates. So what we know so far is we have 6 jurors selected. I'm feeling much better. Thank you, Criminal Network. Good morning, Justice Warriors. So morning session, I guess they're probably on a lunch break, maybe. At least the news has come out, given us an update. 6 jurors selected. 6 jurors booted, I think, not selected. One of which had psychic powers. They did not select the psychic, unfortunately. So that's a bummer. But like I said, that would not have been the strangest thing to happen in this case. So if you're tuning in for a quick update, the update is they've selected 6 jurors. One of the jurors they did not select was a self-proclaimed psychic. That's the update. We'll get into more detail in the stream, but if you're just tuning in for that, there you go. Enjoy the rest of your lunch and have a great day. DB has been patiently waiting for somebody to cover this case. I know he has. Hi, Murky Piglet. Cleveland, my purple queen. Mandy, hello. Indy Anner. Is somebody from R&M actually inside taking notes? No, I am R&M, but we do have Lana with Truth and Transparency did get in this morning, and we're going to go over how and where y'all can follow along if you can't pull up a live during the middle of the day, which most people can't. All Eyes on Delphi has created just a fabulous resource to track real-time updates this week and throughout the rest of the trial. So, hello, Just Deb. Hello, LD. I'm a sneak listen at work. 6 jurors already seems quick. It does seem quick. I thought that too. According to Angela Ganote and another reporter, they've seated 6, bounced 6. Hi, Ems. I saw you doing yoga with your puppy this morning. I'm in love with you. Hello, Raphael on Twitter is reporting on the jury selection. Everybody go follow at Raphael on TV if you want updates. Not to say that he's would be my number 1 pick. We're going to share a couple other Twitter accounts for people to follow for updates. Hey, Judge Jessica. Good morning, everyone. I'm a bundle of nerves. I feel good. I felt awful last night. Just this wave of anxiety, dread, physical stuff. I just did not feel good, but I feel okay today. Definitely anxious, but hello, Judy, my dear. Hello, Ange, DB, and everyone. Thank you for doing this and keeping us informed and updated. Thank you to all who are boots on the ground. Yeah, for sure. We love and appreciate you all. And thank you to everybody who, I know there are a handful of our friends who did get there today, waited in line, but did not make the cut to get in and get seated. So they are our eyes and ears on the ground on the outside, and we love and appreciate them so much. It's unfortunate that public access is so gutted and egregiously handicapped in this case, but we're making it work the best we can because everybody here wants the same thing. We want the truth. Can't handle the truth. Criminal Network, greetings to all who have dedicated their time to this cause without looking for anything in return. Our voices are louder than ever. I agree. Hi, Criminal Network. I think All Eyes has a sheet she's going to be up. I mean, Criminal Network, Criminality. Hello, both of you. I love you both. T, Criminality. All Eyes has a sheet she's going to be updating with who did and didn't get in. So I'll pull that up in a second. But we know that Lana did get inside, so that's good. We do have eyes and ears in there. Oops, I'm making sure I'm not missing anything. All right. How many people couldn't get seats? I'm not sure, Rosie. I'm sure Lana will give us a very detailed update. And if anyone was there today and wants to hop on, let me know and I'll send you the link and you can come on down. How weird do we think things will get in just the first week? I think they'll get, I don't know. I thought they'd be weird already, so I'm surprised they have 6 already. Hey, DB. Why was RA moved to Allen County just for voir dire? Probably because it's I would imagine it's safe So they booked him the night before, right? So I imagine it's so they don't have to transport him back and forth every night. I guess maybe he'll be staying in Allen County for the remainder of jury selection, but I'm not 100% sure. That's a good question. Each side gets 10 strikes. Won't take very long. Allen is allowed to be part of jury selection. Yes. Oh, you mean like him being in attendance? Like, yeah, I guess I'm not really surprised. I think the defense from the beginning has really tried to keep him in the public as much as possible. They really want him to be participating. They want the public to have eyes on him. They want him to be involved as much as possible. I wish all defense attorneys operated that way, but let's see. Who else we got here? Hey, Christine DC. So good to see you. Hi, Tor. Hashtag attack the timeline. Hey, Fiend. Our weird cat. Our fearless weird cat. Sunflower Soul. Hello. Hi, Chelsea. Spring break. We're going to talk about Nick McClellan in a minute. Hi, the Royal We. Carbon, good to see you. He had drug-induced psychosis. I bet you're right. And DB Fiend, Criminal Network Torso, Luke Heather, good to see you. DB, obviously, if you want to do anything, do it. Go ahead. I'm just winging it today, so. I heard Criminal Network's on the jury. What the fuck? Hey, Odd Structure. What's going on, chat? Are you hydrated? I'm drinking water because Courtney and DB yell at me about not drinking water. I hate drinking water, by the way. No, it's not good. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Christy Sharp. Well, let me make sure I didn't miss anyone. Hey, Dom. Good to see you. Gio. Popcorn, indeed. Nice to see you. Hello, Taryn Dusty, says Xanax check. Rex Stardust. Hello, Rex. We're all good and zooted on whatever we need to keep us grounded. I hope we're taking care of ourselves and doing it. Hello, Scully. Chris. I think that's almost everyone. Salty Sleuth investigates. Hello. Missy's Angels. Hello. Thomas Scott. Hello. Check the mail. The driver of the car is me. Yeah, I know. Hi, Jancy. Hi, Pebbles. Hi, Heather. Thank you. Hello, Joanna. There's T. You think they'd have known they'd be booted for being a psychic? I don't know. Maybe that's why they said it. Maybe they were like, I got stuff to do the next 5 weeks. I can't be here. 10 jurors have been selected. We have an update from Kit Hanley. New as of 12:45 p.m. 10 jurors have been selected. 6 women, 4 men. Selection process happening quicker than expected. I'm going to share this. Scroll down to the bottom. Hey, Tommy. Hey, AK Radar. Hey, Murky Piglet. If I missed you, I'm so sorry. I'm just trying to get going. Hey, TT. Like I said, if anyone wants to hop on, if anyone was there today, you do not have to put your camera on ever, ever, ever. This is the link if you were there today. This is the tweet that I'm going to share. I always ignore my tree summons and impressed when everyone shows up. Yikes! Hey, careful with that. They'll get you. Fine, they'll clap you. They'll drag your ass in. But I do love the rebellion. I am all about some government rebellion. I don't think Indiana narrows. You're either seated or booted. Kit Hanley, I'm going to zoom in for us here because I know this is hella small. So Kit Hanley says, as of 12:45 p.m., 10 jurors, 6 women, 4 men. Selection process happening quicker than expected. My goodness. I will put her handle in the chat because she seems to be giving really timely updates. If anyone wants to follow her. They'd have 10 already. I know. They're just, if nothing else, I guess we haven't really seen. Thank you, Kathy. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. Yeah, hey, it sounds like T says they're looking for 16. Did they take Franny up on her offer to use her jury selection process? I don't know. How many alternates will be selected? 3 alternates? No, 4 alternates, I think. So 16 total. 12 plus 4. Thank you, both of you. Do you think they'll start? Carrie, I got your email. I just got it. And I will respond after this, but I did see it. I see you. Thank you for reaching out. Criminal Network says, I'm here for it. Sounds like it'll be over by Friday at this rate. Yeah, so I guess they allocated today, tomorrow, and I think Wednesday for jury selection if needed, or maybe just today and tomorrow they were thinking. And then I know Thursday, I think, is a wild card. They have motions to do on Wednesday or Thursday. So yeah, they'll do pretrial motions outside the presence of the jury. Criminality answered my question. Good to see you, Truth and Justice. Hi, Jenny. Who dis? I think it's right on par. Most people don't follow along like we do. Yeah, I forget that, at least. Justice Seeker. If they get all jurors they need right away, does the trial start sooner? I don't know. I would hope so for judicial economy, but I guess it depends on if Carroll County is like good and ready for it to start. We know we got their courthouse shrink wrapped or trash bag wrapped, so there will be a day in between the end of jury selection and when they start. Okay. Judge Gold, see, I told you we could have done the whole trial in 3.5 days. Taryn wants to know, will the jury be sequestered? Yes, the jury will be sequestered. What did she say? 6 women, 4 men. Got to get my brother-in-law's husband on the jury. I don't know what that means, but I am here for it. It's in the banner, ma'am. Update. 10 jurors. Select. Oh, look at that. We got a banner guy. Our banner guy is back. Everybody give DB a hand. He got over his strep throat. He's feeling better. He is here. He is happy to be here. He's updating the banner for us. He's doing all of his duties. Appreciate you, sir. Let me stop sharing this. So I am looking for updates if anybody else has heard anything other than 6 and 4. Don't look at banner. Look at banner now. Did get in and will provide. I don't know. It looks the same as I don't know. I missed whatever it was. So the other thing I want to send, while it's on my mind, I did pin it, I believe. I feel like the best, where'd that go? I feel like their best bet is getting a few persons of color on the jury, people who understand the corruption is real. I definitely believe that I think that the fact that Allen County is a much more diverse, larger metropolitan area, I definitely think that there's a better chance of getting more diverse jurors, which is always good. Joe Schmo says, I hope anybody that wanted to get a hotel room got it booked a while ago. Oregon's coming into town to play Purdue Friday. The closest available rooms are likely in Maryville. My goodness. Lots of stuff going on. Jury selection is an art. And woman doing a shadow ban shaved for this. Thank you, woman. Do we think Nick McClellan is feeling nervous today? Good question. TT, if there isn't diversity on the jury, it will be very telling. You know, it's not often that we see the defense and the state operating in this case, in the case of Indiana versus Rick Allen. It's not very often that we see the state and the defense operating efficiently like this. And they seem, I mean, if they're selecting jurors quickly, they must be on the same page, at least in that regard. So that's good. I imagine if there were any major issues or discrepancies. Oh. DB is going to play a clip
Fox 59's Russ McQuaid has been following this story from the very beginning, and he's actually been out here since 4 a.m. along with a few other people waiting outside of the courthouse. Now, Russ, why was it so important for you to be out here this morning?
Good morning, Fort Wayne. Good morning, Indianapolis. It's important to be out here because courtroom access is so limited. There are only 5 seats set aside for reporters. Max Lewis is one of them. He's a pool reporter this morning. Then there's only room literally for 12 other people, whether they be reporters or the public. And the problem with that is you've got to get in line at 4 a.m. because I have to be in that courtroom this morning to hear the opening statements to the potential jurors by both the defense and prosecution. If you hear those opening statements, if you get an idea of what they're looking for in jurors, then that kind of starts to lay out the strategy for the entire case, which will then make its move across state to Delphi later this week.
Looking good, Russ McQuaid. Hey, DB. How we doing, bud?
The eyes of a man with an unbent knee on the left here, thinking, holy fuck, it's early.
Yeah, it is early. He looks like he's having a really good time. So
He looks like he might be regretting.
Did he get in, I wonder?
He may be regretting his passivity.
You think?
Yeah, something
so,
tells
DB?
me he's not so happy with this current circumstances and the state of affairs for the media outside of the trial.
He's actually been out here since 4 a.m. along with a few other people waiting outside of the courthouse. Now, Russ, why was it so important for you to be out here this morning?
Good morning, Fort Wayne. Good morning, Indianapolis. It's important to be out here because courtroom access is so limited. There are only 5 seats set aside for reporters. Max Lewis is one of them. He's a pool reporter this morning. Then there's only room literally for 12 other people, whether they be reporters or the public.
Just wanted to share that with y'all. I thought y'all would find it very interesting.
Can you say why? Why? What to you sticks out? If you have to go, just go. But if you have a minute, I want to know what about that clip struck you.
Well, he seemed to have a bit of a sour face as he described the circumstances, and I agree. I think if I were him, I would too be sour. However, sir, you are on the job. There are people there right now that traveled to cover this. They are a concerned citizen.
Yeah.
They wanted to know what was going on in there today.
For sure.
And they're not on the job. They left their families. They left their job. Maybe they work. Maybe they're not working today. Maybe they don't have annual leave that they can take. And I would say I love you too, but you have a very unfortunate name that you're the name of one of my exes, so I could never say that again. Sorry, but you're a very great person too. I'll sign it. I'm signing it out to you, so I don't have to say it out loud. You know what I mean?
He's using ASL.
So yeah, I just think it's very unfortunate that he is being subjected to such conditions that the general public is often and has often been subjected to in this case.
Right. Yeah, he's just like a lowly member of the public now, huh?
Yeah. You know, when the state, which I will describe again as the government, you know,
not the county.
Not the county. When the state exerts control over the people, such as the media as well, because the media is the people, they'll treat you like dirt.
Yeah, they will.
If they want to. So
yeah, for sure.
And the way they're treating the media is a reflection on how they feel about the public, because ultimately the public is going to be getting information from the media.
Yep. Very true.
And I can tell you right now, every single one of those people that are in there in jury selections right now, their wrists probably hurt, their hands probably hurt, their butt probably hurts. So good for them.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm just checking to see if there's any. 12:52 p.m. update. News 8's Kyla Russell reports that 10 jurors have been selected. There are still 2 more jurors to be selected along with 4 alternates. We knew that. That is from Wish TV as of 12:59. Yes, Rosie, the regular media. Large, what is it called? Legacy media? Large, big boy media?
The media.
The media, the capital M media. The media. DB, how are you doing?
I'm quite all right. How are you doing?
Your outfit is really spiffy.
7 years ago. Well, yeah, this outfit was really just to make a point, and I left it on because I fell asleep last night and haven't had time to change.
You had a late
and
night.
my wig did fall off as well, but yeah, so
Yeah, maybe later you'll have the wig.
just remember, the one thing I could say.
He got me, y'all.
Sorry about that. Something that I'll say really quick about my rant yesterday.
Yes.
It's unfortunate that the phrase "we the people" has been co-opted by a bunch of lifted truck flag carry or like flag flying weirdo dorks. But "we the people" is a serious thing that even though it's been co-opted by goofballs to make a point about like how they don't want like the EPA to like regulate fuel runoff into our agriculture and stuff. We the people stand up against tyrannical government. It means something when it comes to the people versus the government.
Yeah. I like what you said about Grumpy Russ. That's my opinion. He looks a little grumpy this morning. He looked like he needs some caffeine. Perhaps he should get on Twitter. I know our Yellow Jacket suggested that he tweet. He said, I don't tweet. Barbies. Hi, sweet Ange. Homesick today. I hope you feel better. Go ahead.
It's a good point, Royal We. That was a little critical, but I just want everybody to know that you can disagree with me. I'm a left-leaning, or not even leaning. I'm a fucking stage dive lefter, straight to the dirt with my face. Socialist, communist, cuck lord, social justice warrior. And that's what's really great about this show is that we had diversity because Ange is actually a hardcore conservative Republican.
No, she's not. I knew
Yes.
That is the one thing of all the of all like the rumors. There's some pretty nasty ones out there about me. The one that I'm like, that one is one that I just can't. I can't be silent. If anybody clipped that part.
He has a poster of Sarah Palin.
What?
She worked on the Sarah Palin campaign.
Why must you? Your cruelty.
Oh, sorry.
Are you trying to pin stuff? I'll stop. I'm nervous pinning. I'm waiting for an update. I guess So do we think that they're gonna? Yeah, Jenny says we don't believe it. Do we think they're gonna move the actual trial up at all if jury selection ends today or hey Kokomo or tomorrow?
Me? No.
You don't think so? They'll have it Friday?
No, because it would be like the courthouse. I'm sure there are people in Carroll County. We know the EMA director is probably scrambling right now. He's probably sweeping the front lawn and vacuuming the grass. And he's going to put that as a defense a defense fee to make the grass look better because Richard Allen's going to be wearing a suit.
Yeah, I'm
indoctrinating you. Yeah, I just want. Okay, so another thing I wanted to talk about too really quick because we have a little bit of time, it seems like, but I'm not saying that this makes sense. I'm not saying that this is my final thoughts about things, but I just wanted to share this. And I have said it in passing to a couple of people, and I think that I wanted to get everybody as a whole's opinion on it. And I think, as we've heard, Richard Allen is going to be wearing a suit, right? And that's a good thing. You want the defendant to be wearing something that's presentable in court. You never want them to be wearing a jumpsuit, because you kind of get like the predisposed idea of them being a criminal,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what criminals wear, right?
Yeah, they do.
But I was thinking the other day, like, I'm not saying they should change that. I'm not saying anything. I'm just thinking about this. Like, does him wearing a suit make it seem more like he's okay now? Like he's normal? When they tried so hard to make this man a prisoner,
Mm-hmm.
which we know what prisoners are. They're people that have been found guilty of a felony or of a misdemeanor for more than a year of punishment. They're, taken to the Indiana Department of Corrections. They want him to be a prisoner so bad.
Yeah.
And why now? I feel like the story of his being a prisoner in IDOC is powerful, and the imagery of it is powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if cleaning it up makes it will result in that being a little bit further away in people's minds. I don't know. Just something I thought about. I never thought I would think of a case where a suit would do that. It would like make them separate from some of the things that are like important in the trial, but just something I wanted to share, see if anybody else agreed with me or not.
Well, so it's almost like they got what they wanted. They wanted the public to see him, shackled and everything, but it's like they went a little too far, the understatement of the fucking universe. But it's almost like they should have to, putting him in a suit almost minimizes or dilutes exactly what they've done to him and what he's been through and the person that they kind of turned him into, right?
Yeah, and it seems kind of silly, because I know that in any other situation, I'd be like, no, he should wear a suit. And I've said it 1,000 times about the Kohlberger situation. They're like trying to not to allow him to wear a suit, the prosecutor and the family. Like, there's a family petition to get Kohlberger not wearing a suit.
Not wearing a suit?
Yes, because that's going to work.
That's absurd. That's fucking
so
stupid.
It is kind of weird that we're like, oh yeah, it's going to happen. And then now I'm like, well, what think about it? Yeah, it's like you're never going to be happy. But I don't know, something about it seems like it's washing away some of the damage. And like people could look at him and go, oh, look, he's fine now. But, he's got a suit on, he's clean shaven, he's, whatever. And then I also think like he has these piercing eyes that people talk about. And, he did a stare at, all of the media, because he's probably been stalking Susan Hendricks's thoughts about the case.
Yeah,
but,
right.
Like, I wonder too if like maybe having a beard and some hair grown out would distract, or like a mustache too would maybe distract away from his eyes a little bit. But
yeah,
I don't know.
He's 147 pounds. That's pretty tiny. I was thinking too, like, I mean, earlier in maybe last week or the week before, I was thinking like, gosh, I hope that. Interesting, Michael. Michael thinks that Rick may testify. That's very interesting.
Dude, could you fucking imagine Nick McClellan trying to cross-examine him? Wait, well,
he'd be unkind.
Wait, what would he say? What could he say that's unkind?
No, Nick McClellan would be.
No, I know. What could he say that's unkind to there's no evidence of him doing anything nasty. So what they're going to say? Like, your bullet was there.
No, I just mean Nick will be unkind in his questioning. Like, he'll be I don't think that he'll translate well in general to the jury, because he's quite abrasive when he questions people. Yeah,
okay. But I was saying, like, even if he was abrasive, like, what could he be abrasive about? Like, being like, is it true that you came forward in the first couple of days of the investigation?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That's true. Yeah. Is it true that you own a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson? Yes. Oh, did you, like, what are you gonna? It just seems like there would be not a lot going on, but yeah, the voice thing. Well, I only think that his voice being presented at trial is only bad for him
I agree.
because there's absolutely nobody that's gonna say that's not his voice. I'm gonna ignore everything else, and I think there are more people that would go, "Oh my God, that's his voice," and tune out. So I feel like even if it was even more different, I could see it being still not see it being like totally exonerating for some juries.
Right. Well, if somebody wants to hear something, they'll hear it,
Yep.
They'll
Yeah, I
have
think
to.
the biggest risk would just be people hearing his voice and saying, "Oh my God, that's him."
I
He
agree.
did it.
Bob, here we go. Bob Segal. Bob Siegel.
Oh, good friend of
Delphi
mine. Go
murders.
ahead.
So far, 10. We already knew that. Great reporting 5 minutes ago. 10 jurors selected.
Wow, that's really, I beat him to it. I scooped it.
Chelsea said something interesting. There was an article from CBS 4 Indy that had Russ McQuaid listed as an author that said, quote, "The defense laid the groundwork for Allen not to testify," end quote, which seems like a weird statement.
What the fuck? Wait, what?
Chelsea, can you send that article to me on
Oh my God,
on
Chelsea
X
is
or
so smart and like good and like supportive all the time.
who,
I'm
Chelsea?
not saying that she's lying. I'm not saying Chelsea's a liar. I'm saying that I don't fucking believe that. How in the fuck?
I don't think we know yet, Michael. I hope that they will report on that. I know Lana will later. They are moving very fast. Chelsea said I asked them to clarify. Let's see. Oh, if you responded to it, then I can find it. Yeah, Chelsea's the best.
No, I know. I'm kidding. If that didn't
Oh,
come
that's what she said. I was confused. She said the defense. Oh, here we go. I found it. Not I found it. Chelsea found it. I'm going to share it.
Thank
We
you,
are going
Chelsea.
to read it together. It is a weird to say. Then again, the media is weird. Russ McQuaid's more interested in classic rock than, yeah, that's true.
He's a big classic rock guy.
Have you ever read his like long form Facebook posts?
Is it more like a Pink Floyd classic rock type, or more of like a
No, he's like an
Black Sabbath?
he's like an Eagles. What else? He's like
Oh,
an
God.
Eagles. He's like your dad's.
Well, I don't have a dad. I was born before my dad.
That's true. All right. Can you see this? No, because I didn't share it. I
He's
copied and
totally
pasted
lying.
from the article in my reply. Perfect. Okay. Says, Allen County, Indiana, 10 people have been chosen to sit on the jury in the Delphi murders trial after jury selection began Monday. Delphi, yes. Richard Allen faces 4 counts of murder. This is in itself is just okay. Around 300 summons were sent to protect prospective Allen County jurors. Eventually, 12 and 4 will be selected. 3-day process of culling the jury pool began. Yeah, this is definitely Russ McQuaid. The 3-day process of culling the jury pool began in Allen County on Monday. During the proceedings, 10 were selected, 6 women and 4 men. Several jurors have been dismissed, including a prospective juror who claimed to have psychic abilities. Another juror was dismissed after telling the court he didn't like the color green. 2 jury seats remain open, as do positions of 4 alternates. The jury will be sequestered for up to a month. I thought it was 5 weeks, but okay. During Monday's proceedings, Carroll County prosecutor Nick McClellan told prospective jurors that Allen is the bridge guy who killed the girls and whose image was widely seen in a grainy still taken from Libby German's phone. The prosecution said an unspent round found next to the bodies matches a gun owned by Allen. The state also said that Allen has confessed. Oh, now it's dozens of times. By the way, this
the state
mugshot
said that? I thought he was a county prosecutor.
Right.
Wasn't that why doesn't it say Carroll County said that?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Bob Siegel, whatever his name is. I just want to point out this picture was taken October 13th, 2024, 2 years to the day that they brought Richard Allen and his wife in for questioning the first time voluntarily and then searched Richard Allen's home. with or without a search warrant at the time, we don't know. We'll never know. The prosecution said an unspent round found next to the bodies matches a gun owned by Allen. The state also said he confessed dozens of times. Defense attorney Brad Rosie said Allen made those confessions under duress. He also suggested infighting. Infighting between federal and local law enforcement left some evidence unanalyzed, which we assumed, but that's interesting. The prosecution seemed to indicate it might not have conclusive DNA or phone data or weapon evidence. The prosecution seemed to indicate it may not have conclusive DNA or phone or weapon evidence.
Wait, is this for sure a analysis of the opening statements this morning?
This is what we have so far of the opening statements this morning. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if this is Russ saying that this is what the points have been made in like the filings up to this case so far.
No, he's talking about this morning, I believe. Because we didn't know all of this. Like, we didn't know that. Yeah, he says during Monday's proceedings. Prosecution seemed to indicate so they don't have conclusive DNA, phone, or weapon evidence. The defense appeared to lay the groundwork to keep Allen off the witness stand, whatever that means. Jury selection is ongoing. Yeah, Chelsea, that's a great observation. I don't know why they'd say that or why Russ would suggest that. Can share the link in the chat. Yes, Rosie. Or I can try. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, what's interesting is like there's no groundwork, sir. Like that document that I was talking about earlier, the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights, that's the groundwork.
Uh-huh.
You have the right not to take the stand. You cannot be, you not testifying against yourself cannot be held against you. So what groundwork needs to be made?
Right. It's like saying the defense hasn't given, they haven't.
They're holding them to a standard like that is going to make it so people are going, oh, okay, they laid the groundwork for it. So like, I guess they don't really have to do it. No, they don't have to do it regardless of any groundwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been doing that constantly. Making it seem like the defense has some kind of responsibility or obligation that they're not meeting, like and that's just not the case. The defense doesn't have to do anything. Yeah. Nick McClellan doesn't know that. He thinks the state has a right to a fair trial. That's very interesting. Okay. So should I share, oops. I was going to share All Eyes. So most people have this, but we're going to put All Eyes. I think it's still, still pinned, but this is the resource sharing, note sharing link right here. That is a weird statement. I totally agree, Chelsea.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Chelsea. And then if you guys find anything else like that that's weird, you can just tweet at one of us too, or put it in the chat.
Yes, please. Definitely. Sorry, go ahead, Davey.
You can like send it to a mod too if you talk to one of the mods more often, and they can paste it in the chat.
So this is our actually let me go to this first. Davey, and you can like direct me around if you think there's something I'm missing. So this is the All Eyes hub. So we know all the documents and CCS feed and everything is here. And then new are these 3 tabby thingies here. Trial notes, which is where people in attendance can go to upload their notes that they're taking. It's early, so nothing yet. But then in each day, I believe each day she's going to have her who got in list. So we've got Lana in there, Russ McQuaid, Max Lewis, Kyla Russell. Oh, I didn't share that? Yes, I did. Yeah. And then what else? What else should I show? TV
so
guide. Go ahead.
Yeah, TV guide is going to be like what is streaming, who's streaming what. Like all I was just trying to get an idea of who all is going to be going when and giving updates and stuff, so people aren't like inundating or like they, you know, giving other people the right of way and everything if they need to.
You mean like YouTubers and streamers and stuff?
Yeah, if you click on TV Guide, it should have the list of.
Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got it. Awesome. And then here's contact if you are a note taker or in attendance or have a question or need to contact All Eyes. There's how you do it. Right here. We saw Lawyer Lee ahead of Lana this morning. Nice. As people send and upload their notes, we'll get to work transcribing them. Yep, and I think there's a bunch of volunteers already who have said they will help transcribe and proofread, and no one has confirmed yet which part, or just in general. What's interesting is the brief synopsis of what appeared to be the groundwork. No actual information about what was said.
Right, nothing.
No shit.
Just throwing it out there. This is what that appears to have happened.
Yeah.
Well, why do you think that? Was there something that you were saying, like maybe the defense attorney reminded people on the jury that, you know, he has no right to test, or he has a right to not testify, and you can't hold it against him? How many people in this room feel like there's a greater burden on the defendant to testify? 15 people raised their hands. I would like all those people struck. You know what I mean? Like,
hi.
Oh, wow.
Hi, HCC. I didn't give you any warning.
That's okay. Don't worry about it.
How's it going? Sorry, DB.
It's good.
All-time Delphi legend.
Hi,
DB, I know, right?
No, I'm talking about you, dude.
How you
I'm always good friends with people who have an acronym for a name. You know what I mean? So, tip my hat to you, sir.
I like those creators that try to force an acronym later.
Yeah, like All Eyes on Delphi. It's like, it's too long.
Ooh.
AEOD. Yeah, it just doesn't work.
No, she's the best, so she can have that. Sure. Anyway, how are you guys today? Weird day, huh?
It's going fast.
10 jurors already?
Yeah. Are you
we just
shocked?
need 2 more and 4 alternates, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think they said 6 women, 4 men. That's all we know about the jurors so far. They're pretty careful not to like say too much about the jurors, I feel like, at least in Indiana. I know that Lana said she's going to be taking meticulous notes about them, and not in a creepy way, of course.
I'm so glad we have people there that we can trust what they're going to tell us, right?
For sure.
Super important.
Especially, like, we have some really good people there, but especially Lana, like, she's just like gonna
She's not gonna lie to
anyone,
anyone,
dude.
Yeah, she don't give a fuck. It's awesome. I'm very disappointed they didn't choose the psychic guy.
Me too. Someone said in the chat earlier.
For the course.
Yeah, someone said earlier. All I says, in my defense, I didn't mean to start a channel. I picked the name during Groundswell. I obviously didn't think it through. You know, it's perfect. It worked out exactly how it was supposed to. You're getting a lot of love in the chat, HCC. I don't know if you can see it. Everyone's really happy to see you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
so I've been missing. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes it's best just to get out of the way and let the people who are smarter than you say the things. I've been around forever, but I can come back and re-strengthen what you brilliant people are up to. So I freaking hate HCC.
Tor.
Fair. Somebody has to.
Amazing.
So is it over today, or will there be more?
We're gonna until the end of the day. I'm pretty sure. I know they're still in there. We didn't get a schedule or anything, but if the media is coming out tweeting, I'm just checking now.
Or so I have a whole Discord for you to join then.
Dude, I am a part of a Discord dedicated to hating one creator and it's the funniest shit I've ever seen. And it's, if there's one for me, I love it. That's great.
No, I mean, I think
Quickies.
you're in one of them.
Oh, fair enough.
You know
Yeah.
which one I'm talking about. Oh man, HCC does a really like type of trolling that I do sometimes, but he does it a little bit better, where he just says, "I've said no such thing." And it's so brief and just he just sets people the fuck off. Dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, you don't have to go into that. You could just say, "Yeah, that's fine."
I don't know. The internet it's the internet, man. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
The internet's a scary place, man.
It very much can, especially when they're trying to murder you with police. But
Yeah, that can be scary too, for sure.
Which is fun because like the incident report number's out there.
Yeah, you'd think. I told Bob. I said, "Go fish, Bob." He still won't respond to my tweets. 24 hours, nothing. He's responded to DB and Fiend's asses 10 times just to bicker. I asked him a very pointed, polite. I was polite. DB, do you think I was polite?
Yeah, sure. You do your thing.
in his mind, he's like, I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole, and moved on with his life.
Exactly. Yeah, someone said in the chat earlier that they didn't want the psychic because the psychic probably would know more than the investigators.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, the psychic would go, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a couple people thinking maybe Rick will testify.
We have 250 live right now. That's pretty good. Like the video.
Cool.
Like
Welcome, everybody.
If you like the stream, like it.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a very strange moment when we hear Richard Allen speak more than 2 words, and people are gonna be there's gonna be videos on let's compare his voice to the Down the Hill, and it's just gonna be mayhem for a minute. But well, except for nobody is gonna have his voice, except for they'll hear it in court. And that's why it's another reason so important to have people on all sides, fence sitters especially. I like, I want to see the tug and pull of the real data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Real quick, DB, I'm sending to if someone wants to volunteer to transcribe or whatever, I just sent them All Eyes, right? The website, the click here to reach me. Is that the best way?
That actually is an email. It opens an email directly to All Eyes. I don't know if we have the sign up on the All Eyes page, but maybe that's a good idea to put it on there too. But I can send it out here in a second. The link to sign up if you want to help transcribe.
Yes.
And just really quick on that too, guys, if you want to help, you don't have to. But if you want to, you can. And it might not be every day. It might not be, something that we need, you to sign up for the whole 3 weeks. Just if you feel like you may be able to help, it just gets you on the list to be contacted easier once we do have people that are sending us notes.
Okay, so you're going to send that out at some point then if someone wants to sign up?
Yeah, I'm about to paste it in there right now.
Okay. Hey, nobody, nothing. Good to see you. I wonder, are they on break? I wonder if they're on a lunch break or what, because you'd think that unless they had like a real quick, it was one of those like 10-minute breaks, you'd think that the reporting would be a little more detailed, right? If they were like out and about for any significant.
Maybe they're just doing sign language out the windows because they don't want to leave. But you think about it, like if you have a coworker there, I mean, that's a significant advantage over people that are there alone because you're separated from your phone.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're just like passing in the bathroom or like going to the bathroom and somebody's outside and they're not in the courtroom.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that maybe there's a walk to get to the actual courtroom that's not in a public access area, but yeah, it's just you have such an advantage. Legacy media has such an advantage over reporting, and it's unfortunate that seem to be no details about the things that they're stating right now. Like laying the groundwork for him not to testify.
Right. It's weird. Why would they say that and not give more info? Like, you could easily give more info than that, more details. Oh, here, there's a little more detailed about the jurors.
I must have missed that.
Oh, yeah. HCC, the article, I don't know if I shared it. I think it's up in the chat. I'll share all of the ones we talked about after. But basically, Russ McQuaid was saying that the opening statements they did, the state basically talked about how Rick is bridge guy. That's their thing. He's bridge guy. That's the guy. They found his bullet and matched his gun. And the defense, I think the points they raised in that article was the defense said that there was infighting between the federal and local investigations, which means some evidence went unexamined. Which I don't know if we knew that. Unexamined.
Interesting.
That is very interesting.
Also known as, well, they say that, bridge guy is RA. RA is bridge guy. Also known as the only answer Mullen could muster up during his depositions.
Yeah, right. Cat got your tongue, except he was able to say he's the bridge guy. He's the bridge guy. It's like he got stuck in a glitch. He was just like, he couldn't say anything else. Okay.
Kind of like wheat. That's
yes.
They all just glitch out at some point.
They do. They get nervous. They glitch out, and they just like. Okay. So this article was posted. It was updated recently, but it says Monday's day 1, 12 jurors will decide. So far, 10 jurors have been seated, with 6 of them women, 4 men. The jurors have a variety of backgrounds, including a nurse, a counselor, a retired man, 2 with law enforcement families, and 1 who has been on 3 other juries. Allen was arrested in October 2022, lived in Delphi, blah, blah, blah. He became blah, blah, blah.
Has he been on 3 other juries?
It's a lot. I've never been on one.
I haven't either.
Well, who would be the type of person that would be amazing for both parties so that they wouldn't get struck so quickly? That's interesting.
I think the nurse one, to me, makes sense because nurses often have, I think there's a good amount of nurses who have, because of their jobs, have like allegiance to law enforcement, not in a derogatory way. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean like nurses and, they get along well sometimes. I think that on the other hand, if they're going to raise the issue of medical ethics, I think a nurse would be important, especially a nurse that takes their medical ethics holds that in high esteem. I don't know what kind of counselor. Counselor is very broad, but I'm
going to reply to this real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Joanna says, it's fab. You guys are all doing this. Keeping public eyes on this. I follow Andrea Burkhart, who's a defense and appellate lawyer and attending the trial. I just found you and I'm so glad you're doing this. Thank you. Well, we absolutely adore Andrea Burkhart. And if you're an Andrea Burkhart fan, I hate to break it to you. We do appreciate that you're here, but we're definitely not going to give you what she gives you. We're going to give you exactly what we hear. We have, she's like an orator of case law and just very, very, very quick with the legal analysis. Obviously, we're not Andrea Burkhart, but we do hope to have her on if she can. But yeah, she's the queen of LawTube in my opinion. But yeah, it's we'll be going into a lot of stuff too, but it's a different thing that we're doing over here. So,
but we talk about legal stuffs. Certainly, Andrea Burkhart is the oh my god, who is this? Who is that?
Is that
her name? Is Camper. Sometimes kids just bring home strays.
How's Zola handling this stray?
Oh no, we don't let them. Zola's very bitey.
She would eat it.
One bite.
One bite and that'd be it. Oh,
I almost just.
Yeah, she's so cute. Just one they brought home?
Just one, thankfully.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Sometimes they bring the whole lot home.
Sorry to distract all of you.
No, not at all. You are welcome.
She was being a pain in the butt, and I was like, I
thought maybe that was your tummy, my tummy. No, it was a kitten.
Yeah.
My goodness. Yeah, no, DB makes a great point. We love Andrea. she was my introduction to, actually DB sent me a live she was doing on Karen Reed, and that was the first, or maybe it was Koberger. It was a hearing. I don't remember, one of the two. And you sent me a live she was doing. And I'm very picky about like watching lives, she says, as she does them all the time. But I just mean when it comes to like following a case in real time, sometimes I get like easily distracted. It can be hard for me to follow it when it's going on, if I can't speed it up, if that makes sense. I don't know, ADHD thing. Andrea, though, I'm like locked in. Like, she's great.
Yeah,
her explanation is incredible. It's like just enough for a layperson, but it's also like a really high quality analysis. And she thinks of all the things, you know, she'll give you the angles, all the angles. I'm so glad that she is covering this. Like, when she first said that she was going to, I like could have cried. I was so glad. Yeah.
This little cat is just stealing the show over here. Huh? I don't like that. Yeah, and I said that about the comparison to Andrea, not to be derogatory to, you know, what we're going to talk about, but like I want people that are coming over here from that channel to know and be like, oh, okay, this is not that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're not thinking like, what are these guys going to get into the case law?
Yeah,
you
we're
know,
not lawyers.
We'll like link the case law.
Sure.
We're not going to, you know.
We can tell you where to find the case law. And then
I
we'll
work at Chipotle, just for the new people.
DB's a
I
burrito
roll
roller.
burritos. I'm a burrito expert.
Yeah, somebody said
you know, burritos are just tacos that don't fall out.
It's true.
I love that.
Well, they couldn't be a part of the Delphi community because these motherfuckers be falling out.
I'm so curious about the
daily
comment about the fact that Rosie raised the, which we've all, you know, if you're following the case, you likely are aware of some infighting, I guess is what he said, among law enforcement, local, state, federal, whatever. It's interesting that he raised that point during jury like opening. Not necessarily interesting. Like, I think that they're going to attack the investigation, and I think we're going to hear about some evidence that does in fact exist that we didn't know existed because perhaps it wasn't analyzed. That's what I'm hoping. You know, we talked about DNA and IgG last night a little bit, and it just is like baffling to me still. And I don't understand the DB will sometimes tries to explain IgG to me, and it's like my brain like atrophies. It's confusing, but it's important. And hopefully they'll have someone who can explain it well to jurors and lay people. But like all of that to say, there has to be evidence that there just has to be more evidence than what the state has put forth. There has to be, like,
especially federally, because
yeah.
As we know, like, you have to turn over all exculpatory evidence, and you know there's a real issue when it comes to having a federal investigation that's ongoing during the time there's a state investigation, because they may say, oh, well, we don't have to turn this over because they're not going to be cross-examined on certain things that they would normally be if it was a federal case. Like, for instance, if you have a metal detector that you found evidence with, you have to show that it's calibrated correctly if it's material to the case. Any type of instrument, you have to show that it's calibrated correctly, that used to, you know, determine if something was a match or not, say DNA. And if the feds did the DNA STP or STR S&P profiling and then just sent it as a lead over to the state, and they purchased the IgG. Well, how was it calibrated? How was their machines working? Those types of things are exculpatory, and it makes me wonder what won't be shared at the trial if there really was a more in-depth and separate federal investigation going on too.
Yeah. Well, and when they brought, so DB, you know way more about this than I do. So when they brought in Jennifer Auger, the third defense attorney, she primarily, at least at the beginning, was working on like TUI and like federal like subpoenas, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, but as it pertained to geofencing with the CAS team,
like specifically. So is it possible that she might have been the thing that helped facilitate do you think that the feds
Yeah,
have
absolutely.
been working
I
with
mean,
the like are providing evidence to the defense?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have their own obligation, and especially if there's going to be an agent call, you would think that they would have they would want to share that information, but um, they don't have the same scrutiny on cross examination, so it's just they may not be as going to the bottom of their records to provide stuff, but that usually happens when you have an attorney that is a defense attorney that's willing to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. Right. So, and when you say they don't have the same scrutiny, you mean like fed like a fed on the stand, like a federal agent versus like a local law enforcement investigator, right?
Well, what I mean is if the federal agent isn't on the stand and you're on cross examination on a state cop or a state or like a county officer, they're gonna say, "Yeah, I was trained by the FBI on this."
Yeah.
Say cast, doing CSLI stuff. Well, yeah, I just followed the training that I had during the cast training. Right. But if you had a cast agent actually help you with the plotting and everything,
Mm-hmm.
the information they used and their training is also part of what should be examinable. And oftentimes what happens is they hide behind TUI and say that they just train people and they're a sovereign nation and they don't have to answer to state subpoenas unless they go through this whole process where the FBI or any federal agency can then say, hey, it's this is something that you need to respond to. So
Okay. So, and is it possible that I guess like what is the relationship generally like between, because so as like a total newbie who knew nothing about anything as it relates to investigations and jurisdiction, coming into the Delphi case like 3 years ago, I probably would have assumed that the feds, like everything that the feds had and did, like the county had, like that there was just this open kind of streamlined sharing of evidence and investigative material and fruits of that investigation. Like I just assumed that everybody's sharing everything with everybody, which we know is not the case.
right.
Could
Like even they have different like email accounts, like different domains that they store information on. Like this, when you have a sworn JTTF officer, they may get an FBI email. They may be able to get an FBI like into the FBI server. But like if you're just a county officer, you're not sharing the same database or the same system of where the evidence is stored and where the elections are needed. The electronic information is being documented and stuff. So and they have different Celebrite servers. They have different Axiom servers. They have different gray key servers. So like the information is going to be separate, but yeah, it's just it's an extra barrier unless there's the ability to like create something that's an in between, which doesn't seem like there was enough cooperation in this case for that to happen.
That's kind of what I'm asking. So the level of cooperation between local and federal really determines how much information and evidence sharing the state, how much evidence the state has from the federal investigation. So if the defense comes in and they have somebody who's specifically, has the know-how and the experience of like working with and subpoenaing and communicating with like federal investigators or whatever, like Ajay seems to, then is it possible that there's that positive rapport, whatever that relationship? So could they have gotten new evidence from the federal investigation, like since Ajay has been on the case? Could the defense have like discovered new evidence that they didn't have previously from the feds?
Yeah, but I think that because of the discovery issues that were brought up before, I think they would have more of there would be more objections on paper to the way that the FBI evidence wasn't provided. So I don't know.
You think we would have seen something in a filing suggesting that in some way?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah. That was a really long-winded way of asking, like, why do you think Rosie brought that up?
Well, oftentimes different populations think about the federal government differently too. So for some populations, they think about the feds as a savior, and others think about them as a tyrannical government that has too much oversight over the people. So
Mhm.
depending on the populations, they may have a very different opinion about the feds. So
True.
saying
Yeah.
that the feds thought one thing and the state thought the other thing, when you have the state and ISP and that Allen County Sheriff's Department, who's had various issues with certain populations, then you could be pitting people's thoughts against each other about these two totally separate governments that tend to do their work a little bit differently depending on who it is.
I never understood the people who argued that the local sheriffs and law enforcement were better investigators than the organization of the FBI. And people would very fight tooth and nail over how bad the FBI is and stuff. It's very strange. And I forget often that people's brains are controlled so much by their stance on the government and things. And even in this case, I think simply just being Republican or Democrat influences people horribly, because there's like that thin blue line thing too. Like, it's just a job though, people. You can literally just quit being a cop.
Well, and like
a lot
even
of them
when
should.
I agree with you. And even it's like the FBI is a large entity, right? So like
with lots more money than a tiny county.
True. Yeah.
Their own laboratories, the best in the world.
Yeah.
And
sure,
different, they make mistakes, but
different, like within the FBI, then you have different entities and sub entities, and like so like an FBI field office in Indianapolis perhaps might operate completely differently than an FBI office in New York, right? So it's like just the caliber and the quality and the culture varies too. So to say that like the FBI on the whole doesn't know how to do, like, it's like, no, there's certain field offices that can get maybe like poisoned by a bad leadership or whatever, but to just like draw the conclusion that the FBI can't be trusted and that they suck. And it's like, if I'm investigating something, I'd probably prefer to have the FBI helping me than like Carroll County Sheriff's Department.
Much more resources. Yeah. We have an FBI field office here in Lafayette as well, with 2 or 3 agents, I think, always posted, and they're probably the closest. But we do know Indy was involved, though. Yeah, she's different. She will beat the shit out of very large cats. She has no fear. I don't know.
Where did they find her? Just braving the world?
At Grandma and Grandpa's. They live in the country, and so they just have wild cats that they feed or whatever. And this one was abandoned. And my son was out there camping with his friends, and he's like, "We have a cat now."
Here you go.
And then you look at her, and you're like, "Fuck! All right.
What else? What am I supposed to do, right?"
Yeah. You already fall in love with her. Look how cute she is.
She's really cute.
But hey, I thanks so much for the invite. I gotta jump back. Just thought I'd jump on during my lunch break and say hi. And
hi.
Good to see you.
Miss you guys. It's been too long. Just been doing stuff. Nothing.
Living life. Keeping busy. Doing good.
Working the streets, paying those bills, and
working the streets. Love that for you. Love that. Well, we'll be here if you want to come
excited.
back later.
Thank you.
We'll keep you updated. Bye, HCC. Everybody say bye. Oh, wait, let me share your channel. Gotta get HCC's channel in the chat.
Plug him. Why do you not want to plug him? Plug this man.
Look, mister, we got a long 5 weeks ahead of us, okay? So let's just
Oh, Brie, I could not agree more. I do think when you're comparing that, is kind of a false dichotomy, but I do think there's serious issues And there was one person related to this case, William Tobin, who actually, in the past had blown the whistle on some of those issues. And, it's they've had a they've had a lot of different versions of the FBI over the years and over the decades, a lot of reform. And I think they're going to continue to have a lot of scrutiny on them. When you have uh, such power from an executive standpoint, um, from an executive branch standpoint, with political oversight, I could see, regardless of the side of the party in power, the FBI can often be used um, in a way that maybe it's not designed to be. I see Boone's shadow. There it is.
I was going to ask you, I don't know if you're going to hang out for a bit or if now is an okay time for me to take the dog out quick. I mean, I got to do it regardless, but you don't have to stay.
Yeah, I might be here.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll be back. If you're here, cool. If not, that's okay.
Yeah, this is something that I think happens too. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, too many different law enforcement agencies. Like what happens sometimes, I think, is the paralysis by analysis. Everyone is okay to analyze things and like they want to, you know, step back and like look and go, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. And then it's like, okay, well, who's going to take out and carry out the good idea? Well, you need the people in charge to do that. Because if you have people that are just going out and actually taking actions on the case, you're going to lose direction and the ability to understand where you're going and where the investigation has been. So you don't want too many like branches out that aren't communicating with each other what they're learning. And that's something in particular that I found to be troubling about how the early part of the investigation, they lost the recordings. Because to me, that says that management, leadership was not actually listening to the interviews themselves. I find that to be troubling. You're taking the word for it of your investigators. It doesn't even have to be that they're trying to make something appear in a different way. It's just that different people pick up on different things and people may have a larger picture of things. But I think that can also be kind of, in a way, dangerous too, because there's an example of the public information officer, Kim Riley, early on in the investigation. They're looking at the sketch in the press conference. He says, this is what the witness said. You just told everybody the witness is a woman? Right? You don't want to do that. He slipped up. He like saying that, oh, okay, no, it's just a witness, you know? Well, this is why you want to section off information sometimes. And it's just maybe the public information officer knowing information about the witness could make it so that he could actually accidentally say something. Now, I don't think it makes a difference whether the witness is male or female. I just think that he didn't want to say that and he accidentally said it. And to me, it seems like something, if you didn't want to share with the public, you should maybe have a little bit more silos, silo the information a little bit more so that stuff like that isn't actually happening. Oh my God, that's true, dude. Granny D. Granny D. Yeah, all I says Holman fed RA the one holdback crime scene detail they had before arresting him. After this whole thing's over, I'll tell you guys which AAA I work at, so you guys can come get a burrito. No, Kyra, I was wrongfully terminated. I got reinstated. I'm back, baby. I blew the whistle on the sour cream consumption at my so I had protected status. Thanks a lot, Bob Siegel. Fucking DDoSing me, dude. I'm gonna play this shit.
Bridge in Delphi. The trial for suspect Richard Allen begins this week. And we begin today at noon with the beginning phase of the Delphi murders trial. It is finally here. It has been more than 7 years since the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German were found near the Monon High Bridge in Delphi. The trial for suspect Richard Allen begins this week, starting with jury selection. It's taking place in Fort Wayne, and it all started this morning. So here's a look now at the latest mugshot of Richard Allen. This was released very recently. Allen's accused of killing Abby Williams and Libby German back in 2017. Now here's what is expected to happen today. The court sent questionnaires to 600 Allen County residents who are being considered for the Delphi jury. That's where the jury's coming from, Allen County. 16 will be selected, 12 jurors and 4 alternates. Both the prosecution and defense teams will get a chance to strike 10 potential jurors for any reason. Others will be dismissed for a variety of reasons. So the process will last up to 3 days. Once that jury is sworn in, they'll be sequestered, which means they will be isolated from the public to prevent being tainted. We'll have full team coverage throughout the trial, and you can get up to speed with the major moments and developments throughout this case. We have our Delphi trial special available right now on demand on our WTHR 24/7 WTHR Plus app. You can download our free app on Apple TV, Fire, Amazon, and Roku. Just search WTHR in your app store.
Okay. Pretty good. Did we learn anything new in that one? I caught the tail end of it. Oh, just me. Okay. So let's see. It goes up. I haven't gotten any notifications or any new news. I do think it's interesting. The points that were raised in this Russ McQuaid article about what the prosecution and state drew attention to in their opening, well, I guess they're like mini opening statements. Hey, Melissa, good to see you. I wonder how many of Judge Gold's murder trials have ended in acquittals. It's a really good question. Oops. Got another article. Oops, why is it not? Here we go. Didn't work. 10 jurors selected. It's been more than 7 years. Let's see. Monday, October 14th. As of 1 p.m., 24 potential jurors have been questioned and 10 have been selected. 6 women and 4 men. There's only 6 remaining to be selected, 2 jurors and 4 alternates. 52 potential jurors were brought into the courtroom today. 50 more are expected in the afternoon. You know, this page is kind of small. Let me. Alan walked into the courtroom shortly before 9 a.m. wearing a light purple button-down shirt and khaki pants, the first time that he's been seen in a public court appearance not wearing a prison jumpsuit since his arrest 2 years ago. 13 Investigate senior reporter Bob Segal described Alan as pale but much better physical condition since being moved out of state prison. Imagine that. Gull came in around 9 a.m. and explained the process. Potential jurors watched a video before being brought into the courtroom. The defense and state were each given 30 minutes to question each group of jurors. 30 minutes each. Would be when Nick talks about the snowman and spring break. Yeah, it'd be great if, you know, ask a follow-up question, Bob. He was in much better physical condition since being moved out of the state prison, and I wonder why that is. Gull told the potential jurors trial is expected to last until November 15th, so I guess 4 weeks. She is really banking on 4 weeks, huh? Although it's really 3 weeks of evidence presentation since this week counts as 1, right? I'm not sure. This is a good question. Michael says, if jury selection is not completed today, do those selected go home and study, or are they going to be sequestered immediately? I think, yeah, Ems asked that question earlier. I'm not sure. That seems important. Oops. Each side, the prosecution and the defense, gets 10 strikes for jury selection and 2 more for alternates. The state listed more than 50 witnesses they plan to call, and the defense listed more than 120 witnesses. Haha. In their mini opening statement, the state said Bridge Guy brutally murdered Abby and Libby, then casually walked back to his car and went home. The Bridge Guy left a clue, the prosecution said, a bullet found at the crime scene. The state said it would prove that Richard Allen is the Bridge Guy and that jurors would hear how he allegedly confessed and why. So, okay, that's their evidence. In their mini opening statement, the defense said that Allen confessed to shooting the girls in the back, but evidence shows they were not shot. Richard Allen confessed to a crime he did not commit, his lawyer said, adding that in the 4 months prior to his confession, he was languishing in solitary confinement. His lawyer said a psychologist will tell you that these are the ingredients for false confessions and described the state's evidence as soft. Among potential jurors dismissed by Gull included a person who said that a family member had been murdered in California and one who said they were psychic. Well, that's good. It's good to know that Judge Gull can see why having a close family member that was murdered might make serving as an impartial juror a little difficult, right? At one point during defense questioning, Andrew Baldwin, part of Allen's defense team, stood behind him in court with his hands on his shoulders and said, you guys, look at this man right here. Is it really possible that he might be innocent of this crime? Allen smiled at the jury and the jury stared back. The state objected. Baldwin then said to the potential jurors, I need you to look in your hearts and minds. Even if jury is selected in just a day or two, opening statements will not begin until Friday as scheduled due to transportation and hotel arrangements for the jury. The Allen County Clerk sent 600 questionnaires to potential jurors who have been summoned to appear. They'll each get 10 potential strikes. Yep, they'll be transported to a hotel closer to Delphi for the trial. They will be sequestered for the entirety of the trial with opening statements by the prosecutor and defense team scheduled to take place on Friday, October 18th. Bob says, Law and Crime is reporting that those jurors that were selected just made it through the first round. I guess there's multiple rounds. We'll have to look into that too. Okay, legal analyst. I really am only interested in hearing what the state and the defense said today. But I will share this article in the chat. Oh, I'm freezing. Okay. Let me see. Did that help at all, Ems? Or Himmy? Himmy. Everyone has a right to wait in line to get a seat. If there were cameras in the courtroom, that might not be a concern. I've heard the families did not want cameras in the courtroom. What do we think about that? What do we think about families not wanting cameras in the courtroom? And do we think that that should matter at all? Should that have any weight? I mean, should that be given any weight as to what ultimately ends up happening? What do we think? Oh, what are we talking? Gull isn't really big on letting defendants defend themselves. She probably always wraps trials early. She does talk about wrapping trials pretty early. It doesn't sound like the state has any new bombshell evidence we've not heard yet. At least not from what they've said this morning. Yeah, it's interesting that they're calling his statements confessions when it sounds like they didn't really have much to do with the actual crime. In Indiana, we don't have jury rounds. First 12 people get called up. You ask your questions, you strike or challenge. If they aren't excused, they're seated on the jury. Okay, so never mind. Trying to catch up in chat, y'all. There's not really a mechanism for non-parties to influence the court. You have to file something to have input. I agree with this, Fiend. Technically, that's how it works. Although I do think sometimes families can influence positive and negatively. The judge has to balance the victims' families with the defendant's Sixth Amendment rights to a public trial, not against it. Well, and y'all know how I feel about this, but when it comes to... Sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of misinfo going around about the rounds, the jury rounds. I'm going to obviously wait until we have, like, a lawyer, but it sounds like... Yeah, they don't understand. In Indiana, if you're not dismissed, you're seated and you're a juror. I agree with you, Rosie. I don't think the family should really have any. I just don't think the family should be closely involved in any way with the criminal proceedings against the defendant, period. Kara also says there's no rounds of jury selection. Yeah, so we have victims, we have federal victims' rights in this country, but those victims' rights in no way really interact with with the defendant's rights. They're separate and parallel, not overlapping, and one never should trump the other. So, but victims' rights don't ensure that the victims get to determine how the proceedings against the defendant go. The victims actually shouldn't have any say in any of that. The victims they have a right to bear witness and to be present and to be as involved as they want, meaning as spectators, and there are victims' rights organizations and a lot of prosecutors' offices, not Carroll County, but a lot of prosecutors' offices have victims advocates and special units that just work with victims. When will you go live again, Angela? Ange. I'm not sure. I'm kind of waiting to see what happens today when waiting to see what updates and when Truth and Transparency I imagine will be out, and hopefully we'll have some more soon. But I'm open to whatever. I'm kind of waiting to hear what our comrades, our friends have to say. So I guess more will be revealed maybe later today, like this evening, but I'll let y'all know. DB says, the family should be able to see the trial too, like the whole family. I'm guessing there's more than 10 people in the family that would like to bear witness. Yep. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, it's just really... I could just go on about this forever and ever, so I won't. It stands for really mean, because I'm really mean. I'm just kidding. Maybe one day we'll talk about the origins of R&M. It doesn't really stand for anything. Rick and Morty. Yeah, great point, Rosie. If the families are not able to attend all 5 weeks, which most people, let's be real, most people cannot take 5 weeks out of their work and life and parenting and etc. to attend a trial. So if it were streamed, one would think that would ensure the victim's rights more than anything. All I says, wait, was Andrew the 5th journalist to get in? I don't know. I'm not sure. Great questions, everybody. I wish I had answers. I'm really not sure. Because we are not able to be there. We are not able to bear witness to what is happening in a trial that we all have great interest and investment in. It's a bummer. I'd like a shirt that says I'm in a cult and has the R&M logo under it. Love that. Andrea Burkhart did a journalism. Pickle Rick is funny. Waiting on 4. I mean, All Eyes has 4 journalists. We know of 4 that went in, waiting to hear who the 5th was. Okay, I'm going to go back to Twitter and see. Murky Piglet says, the family is not the actual victims. They're families and concerned parties of the victims. The defendant's 6th Amendment overrides. There's only 2 parties in the case, Indiana versus Richard Allen, unfortunately. Totally. Absolutely. 100%. Donnie says, the word from Wish News, Kyla Russell, during jury selection, 60 to 70% of potential jurors raised their hand when asked if they had heard of the Delphi case before. 60 to 70% had raised their hands if they had heard of the case before. I mean, considering that they're in Indiana, they're only 100 miles from Delphi, I think that's better than I thought. I assumed it would be closer to like 100. God, this is bright. What do we think of that? 60 to 70% of Allen County jurors said they had at least heard of the case before. I do not believe in the American justice system anymore. This case and the Karen Reed case. It's been a rough, it's been a rough year for due process, I think, for people that follow true crime or have any like finger on the pulse of yeah, it's been a pretty rough year, I would say, in terms of safeguarding the rights of defendants in the United States, to put it lightly. There's this like, I don't know what to call it. It's not an anti-innocence movement, but there is, you know, I think that we talk about the pendulum a lot on my answer 42. Me too. So glad Lana got in. We talk about the pendulum on this channel a lot. You know, I think anytime there's like an action, there's an equal opposite reaction, right? So we're seeing there's a lot of activists and advocacy groups and civil rights groups that exist that defend the rights of convicted, innocent, you know, wrongly convicted people. And so those groups exist to keep the state accountable and to safeguard citizens and, you know, American citizens against being wrongfully convicted by the government. It's a terrifying thought, and it happens all the time. So if we didn't have those organizations bringing awareness and fighting, you know, on behalf of wrongfully convicted persons, or even rightfully convicted persons who are having their rights in prison violated, you know, inmates have rights too. So there has to be safeguards and checks and balances and watchers and oversight. But I think that sometimes maybe the victims feel like their rights don't matter when we spend all this time out, right? And I think it's a hard thing to balance. If Alan is found guilty, will you all accept that verdict? I don't think that I personally can't answer that question. I mean, will I accept it? I don't know what other choice I have. I think there's a lot of information and a lot more needs to be revealed. We have to bear witness a lot more before I can answer that question. But no, I think he's innocent. It would be a hard thing to accept. So no, I wouldn't accept that. Not sure that there's much I could do about it. I wouldn't. Well, let's see what the chat says. And it seems to me like there's a lot of guilty until proven innocent, which was a medieval style of trial through tribulation. Yeah. I think that because of the nature of our criminal justice system, when a person is arrested, you know, we like to think that the police get it right most of the time, and that if they arrest someone, they must have good reason, and that person most likely committed the crime they're accused of. But it's like there's competing interests, right? We want to have faith in law enforcement. We want to be able to trust law enforcement to keep us safe and to get it right. But that inherently prejudices defendants, because if we trust law enforcement to get it right all the time, or most of the time, then that means anyone who's arrested is guilty, and that's not true. You know, we're supposed to have this presumption of innocence. So very rarely, if ever, are things black and white. There's very infrequently black and white answers, yes or no answers to complicated questions like guilt or innocence. It's very complicated, especially legally. So I tend to believe that defendants should be given every benefit of the doubt legally, and due process should be impermeable. A judge should not be able to override a defendant's rights to due process, as we've seen again and again and again in this case, and law enforcement. But the judge is supposed to keep the rest of them in line. And if the judge is not doing her job and is allowing the state to bulldoze and railroad and violate trial rules and evidence rules and violate HIPAA rules and violate the defendant's rights at every turn, and the judge doesn't seem to have any problem with the state doing that, then the state's just going to do it. Why would they not? Yeah, Goal has not done her job since day one, when she waited 10 days to appoint attorneys to Richard Allen while he sat in the Department of Correction and had already requested an attorney days prior. And for whatever reason, we don't know what happened early on in the case. We don't know what the inner workings of that whole scenario was early on when Judge Diener recused and Judge Goal took the helm. But what we do know is that Richard Allen was unrepresented when he was moved into a state prison as a pretrial defendant. He was not given an opportunity to object. He was not given a hearing prior to their safekeeping order, which he was legally entitled to. And when Judge Goal was appointed, she waited 10 days passed between her being appointed and attorneys Rosie and Baldwin being assigned Rick's case. So that's scary to think that you can be thrown in prison as a pretrial presumed innocent defendant without attorneys. It's really scary. And there's really no recourse. Hey, Heather, I hope you're feeling better. Let's see if we have any updates. Yeah, there seems to be some confusing info. I don't know why this. I don't know if it's like Law and Crime reported it, and then it just took off. Oh, here we go. The jurors did not make it through the first round. They are seated jurors. In Indiana, we don't have rounds. If you are not excused after voir dire, you are on the jury. So these are our jurors. I don't know where that confusion is coming from, but so far 10 have been seated. Okay. See what Donnie says. If y'all are not following Donnie, you need to be. Oops. My God. This again. Ah, shit. If y'all are not following Donnie on X, you need to be. Here's his Twitter link. People are perhaps getting confused with the Sarah Boone trial. Very good possibility, Fiend. Okay. Mrs. Donnie says, at one point during defense questioning, Andrew Baldwin, part of his defense, stood behind Mr. Allen with his hands on his shoulders and said, "You guys, look at this man right here. Is it really possible he might be innocent of this crime?" Allen smiled at the jury. The state objected. "I need you to look in your hearts and minds." C. Swinford says, "I will say I would also need a lot more state evidence to have a solid opinion. Until I see otherwise, I assume they have it." Yeah. That would be... Oops. What is this, Stevie? 120 defense witnesses sounds like a lot, no? 30 to 40% of potential jurors have not even heard of the case. Bad news for people hoping they saw your tweets and YouTube's womp womp. My conversation with 75% of my colleagues. Do you watch LawTube? What's LawTube? I wrongly assume most people follow current events on social media. 120 witnesses is a lot. Remember that video I shared that one time? Oh, see who? Yeah, so DB says, who do y'all think could be part of the defense's apparent 120 witnesses? Who do we think is going to be on the list? How dare Richard Allen smile? I object. Yeah, you sure do, Nick. Are they inmates? 20 on the trails other than the PCA, 10 FBI cat. Oops. Okay. DB, this is, I think, is this list yours, DB? 20 witnesses perhaps on the trails other than on the PCA, 10 from FBI cast, ERT, etc., 10 medical, gun, blood, autopsy, knife experts, 20 officers, Riley, Prosecutor Ives, FBI Agent Abbott, Nicole Robertson, FBI Agent Matt, Director, what was he? FBI Supervisor, whatever, Massa, Judge Fouts, Judge Diener. Oh God, Superintendent Carter. I don't know who Starrett. Oh, Daryl Starrett was a firefighter. 5 prison inmates. I think there will be more than 5 prison inmates. Although I wouldn't want, if I were the state, I wouldn't want to put many prison inmates. Oh, you're talking about the state's witnesses, DB, right? Okay, or maybe not. I don't know who you're talking about. 10 from FBI cast. Oh, I already said that. 20. Oh, sorry, y'all. 10 medical, gun, blood, autopsy, knife experts. 20 would be officers and prosecutor formerly involved in the case. Perhaps 5 prison inmates. Brian says maybe his wife. Fire chief. M says YouTubers. Yeah, right. Who created the timeline? That's a great question. Good question. They will have, so the state and the defense will have overlapping witnesses. Yeah, for sure. Wasn't there a professor that said it looked like a ritual? There was a Purdue professor and a Harvard professor. Both were consulted. The Purdue professor is the one that causes much ado in this case. But yes, they did say that they appeared ritualistic, I believe was the word. If my stream is freezing, y'all, please let me know, because I can't tell on my end. The defense has to call a lot of witnesses that the state should be calling. Oh, yes, I remember. The professor was like missing in action. I don't remember what happened when they found him, but that whole thing was weird. It was super weird. DB, thank you. DB has gifted 50 memberships. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you are the recipient of a membership, man, it's your lucky day. It is your lucky day. Fiend, did you get it? Did you make the cut? Weird cat. All Eyes on Delphi says Liggett created the timeline after Holman arrested Rick Allen. Fiend says bingo. That is very generous. Frog reveal in the chat. Is the professor going to be a witness? I imagine the Purdue professor would be a witness. I'd be really shocked if he wasn't, but I don't know. I am very interested to see these the witness list. Poor Miko's probably doing an exam or something. Oh my goodness, DB is so kind. So generous. Yeah, maybe 120 was just a smart-ass response, since that's originally the amount Nick said the state intended to call. He did say that. Oh, well over 100 witnesses during a council meeting. We have well over hundreds and hundreds of witnesses. Shut up. Professor Turco was sent sketches of the sticks and was asked for his opinion on the Fed's working assumption that the crime was committed by Nordic extremists. I hope that Nicole Robertson is a witness. So for anyone who's not aware, Nicole Robertson was the FBI agent who authored the search warrant for Ronald Logan, the landowner who owned the property where the girls' bodies were found. So the FBI did issue a search warrant and search Ron Logan's home, and we don't really know what happened after that. We've heard some rumors of what did or didn't happen and what they were or weren't looking for, but most recently, in July or August, at one of the hearings in 2024 in the summer, we heard for the first time that Nicole Robertson was deposed, and she stated in her deposition that the FBI was in fact looking for anything indicative of Norse pagan beliefs or knowledge in Ron Logan's home. I'm probably paraphrasing that incorrectly, but something along the lines of that. And we had not heard that prior. So it would be very interesting to hear from her. I agree, Criminal Network. Hammy says, I have to say my first friend in the case was Fiend. He helped me find who the Harvard professor was. So grateful for Fiend. Emily, what's the latest on jury selection? We have 10 jurors still, 6 women and 4 men. That's the last we heard. As far as I know, we're still waiting for updates. I'm sorry if my timeline is vulgar. So, oh, you can't see it. Okay, that's good. The state has to actually establish when the girls were dropped off. A lot of stuff some of us take for granted. Yeah, I don't think we know any of that. And the thing about this case is that the timeline that the state is pushing is so tight that even if the girls were dropped off 20 or 30 minutes different from what we originally thought or from what they're now saying, that makes a big difference. That means that everything else shifts 20 or 30 minutes too, and that doesn't make any fucking sense for the state's theory. Remember when Nick tried to say they would never be able to find a very specialized Purdue professor? Doesn't bode well for the investigation. Yep. Haven't found him yet. Thank you, whomever gifted me a membership. That was our very own DB. Thank you, DB. Fiend is still not a member. What's going on, Fiend? What's up? What's the problem? Is it normal for the defense to have twice the number of witnesses as the prosecution? That's a great question. I'm not sure. Am I still freezing? Hey, R&M in chat. Hi, Rita Dean. Seems like defense should have a treasure trove of witnesses that can show how the 7 years of puzzle pieces just don't fit. Not freezing. Okay, cool. DB is awesome. Meh, he's all right. Yes, Little Biddle. They have already, oh my God, look at that little thing. So cute. Yes, they have chosen 10 jurors already, 6 women and 4 men, and they've struck, it sounds so bad. Last we heard they struck 6, I think, or maybe they've struck more since then. But yes, our sitting jurors, we have 10. So they will need 2 more jurors and 4 alternates. What time will they end today? I don't know. No lunch break, huh? It's gifts to people who like the video first. The timeline is tight because Liggett was cherry picking stuff to fit Rick Allen and omitting stuff that didn't. Doofus probably thought he was strengthening the case. Yeah. Thank you. Gifting memberships, DB. You are amazing. Isn't it weird that they didn't test any of Ron Logan's bajillion illegally possessed guns? It is, if they in fact didn't, that is alarming. We'd think that they would test any and all 40, well, I'm not going to get into the ballistics, but we would think they would test any 40 caliber weapons he had. I don't know if this is new info, Teresa F says, but an hour ago there was a post saying 10 jurors were selected, 6 women, 4 men. 1 didn't like the color green and the other claimed they were a psychic. Of the jurors that were dismissed, 1 did not like the color green and 1 said they had psychic powers. Certain YouTube channels members can't receive memberships unless they buy them themselves. Well, there's a setting I think you can turn on or off as to like whether or not you will accept memberships. I didn't know that, and I used to be salty about how I never got memberships, and then I turned it on and I got one like the next day. Salty for no reason. I know that doesn't sound like me, but why don't they talk about the 156 firearms that they took out of Ron Logan's home? If the unspent bullet was real evidence, how many of Ron Logan's guns did they test before they returned them to him? Great question. Very good question. No, that is wrong information. You were given bad info. Have we heard any more about the mini statements? What did we hear so far about the mini statements? We heard that the prosecution is really leaning on the video of Bridge Guy. They're saying that that is Richard Allen and that is him on the bridge. So they're leaning on the video of Bridge Guy as Richard Allen, the unspent round that they're saying is connected to his firearm, and the confessions, incriminating statements he made. Those are the 3 things the state mentioned in their openings. The defense mentioned that Richard Allen confessed to shooting the girls in the back and the girls were not shot. They said he confessed to a crime he did not commit. They talk about 5 months prior to any confession, he was living in a coercive environment, deteriorating. I forget the word they used, but it was a really good word. Languishing prior. And then they also said, which was most interesting to me, that due to local and federal infighting, certain evidence was left unexamined. I am interested to hear more about that. Thank you for your question, Purple Amaryllists. Yeah, it's a lot of guns. Any amount of guns while you're felon on probation is probably too many guns, but that's certainly way too many. Or maybe they did test them and they didn't like the results. That's also possible. Can anyone explain the relevance of the color green in this case? Maybe they asked him, do you have any like biases or something? And they were like, I hate the color green. Like, I don't know. I'm wondering if it was something silly like that. Rita says she turned hers on. Perfect. Perfect. I don't know, Fiend. I don't think so. I don't think that my channel can determine. Okay, here's the link that some asked for. If you are interested in helping our note takers who attend the trial, if you're interested in helping transcribe their handwritten notes for us collectively, the community, this is the link that you can sign up at. That will take you to a Google form and you can give your info and help us type up some notes. Hi, Sleuthy. Hello, friend. I know you're working, but oh my God, if you want to talk, you can. That's all the state said. That's all that we've read so far. There might be more details that haven't been reported yet, but thank you for reading the questions while I'm multitasking, Ange. Truth and justice is all that we want for Abby and Libby and the rest who have died or been harmed in this case, says Andre. I could not agree more. There's been so many people impacted by these murders and the resulting investigation and all that goes with that. So many victims here, and definitely would love some truth to be revealed. I think it's way overdue. Hey, Sleuthy. Fluffy Bunny says green is my favorite color, also pink. I like green too. Green is probably, if not my favorite, it's one of them. It's not easy being green. Hi, Sleuthie. Yeah, Ron Logan was given a 30-day grace period before they searched his house. It's true. I hope that Nick was wearing a green shirt or something and the juror was like, I hate it. That would be funny. Wait, what's the green thing? I was modding Rick's and now I'm here. Hi, Kira. Welcome. So basically, Kira, quick update is we had 10 jurors were selected. 6 of them are women and 4 of them are men. And of the 6 or so jurors that were not selected, that were struck, one of them claimed to have psychic abilities and the other claimed that they did not like the color green. That's what we heard. So. Yeah, don't give us all your info, just email. Is the link messed up because it doesn't ask for my email, or am I wrong? This is... Oh God, DB, do I have to share this? You want me to, did you reply to him? Oh, this is quite a thread, huh? If y'all just search the hashtag Richard Allen hashtag on X on Twitter, there's a lot of really good stuff. All right. This is what the other, let's be more more impartial in our reporting. Let's see what the other side of Twitter is saying. Richard Allen admits to being in the area where when the girls were killed. He wore the same clothing as Bridge Guy. His time is verified by 3 of 4 witnesses and Betsy Blair. Is it? Is it? I guess we'll see. A bullet matching ejection marks of Rick Allen's gun was found. He has confessed over 60 times. Good night. It's only 12:24, Gray. Are you okay? It's a little early for bed, Gray Hughes. Someone check on Gray. Make sure he's all right. Oksana says, did you personally hear or read his statement regarding the time he was there or what clothes he was wearing? Did the witnesses confirm it was him? What about expert testimony on the bullet? Has that been presented yet? No need to hear it? Have you heard him confess yet? No? So you're just going to take law enforcement's word for it? The fact you're not concealing your bias? No American should have to face this kind of presumption in our justice system. Great point. And then we've got 8 people placed themselves at or on the bridge after 1:30. Betsy Blair saw a young poofy hair male with no facial hair, turned around and placed a car near the CPS building that was a different make, model, color, and decade than the car that Mr. Allen drove. Betsy Blair's testimony clears Rick Allen. Night, though. You're right. It doesn't sound like much when you say it aloud, says Fiend. Someone ratio this. Oh, anyway, it's pretty fun. It's pretty funny. What else do we have? Just looking for updates. There's not really, they must just all be inside still. Rick Allen, in his interrogation with German, one of the excerpts we have, Rick Allen said, it doesn't. I'm telling you, there's no way a bullet from my gun was used in these murders. Yeah, that's a pretty strong denial. And Rex also says it makes sense that Rick Allen would confess to shooting them because as far as he knew, that's how they died. Right. So this is such a good example of jury contamination. I mean, sorry, I was reading something of how confessions, wrongful confessions can get contaminated. Like a investigator during questioning or interrogation, like probes a suspect about certain details, and the suspect's like, I don't know. Well, you're feeding that suspect details about the crime, presumably. So if Jerry Holman is screaming with his fucking monster breath, Rick Allen about his bullet was found at the crime scene, Rick Allen is probably going to think that the girls were shot because there was a bullet there that they're making a fuss about. So 8 months later, when he's in psychosis, languishing in DOC, it makes sense that a confession would contain details like the girls were shot. Now we're going to play a clip of Lieutenant Riley being a dummy. So yesterday, we got Rick Allen's new mugshot. Oh, I'm not sharing, am I? No. Okay, let me share. We got Rick Allen's new mugshot from his booking into the Allen County Jail prior to today. These are his physical descriptors that the jail logged. So he's 52, he's a white male, weighs 147 pounds. He is 5'5". His hair color is gray, and his eye color is blue. They look pretty blue to me.
The hair color is a reddish brown. She was, or the person was not clear on the color of the eyes, but the person said it was definitely not blue. She was the person was very obvious that it was not blue eyes, but they meant that they were clear on color. Basically, the hair color is a reddish brown. She was, or the person was not clear on the color of the eyes, but the person said it was definitely not blue. She was the person was very obvious that it was not blue eyes, but they did mention that they were not clear on which color it was.
Right. What do we think? What do we think about that? Definitely not blue eyes. Which witness said that? So the witness that stated that about his eyes not being blue was the witness who provided the details for the first sketch, the old guy sketch that was released. When was that released? In July 2017. Okay, so if you can you link that form again, DP? I lost I think I unpinned it. Oh, here it is. So this is the doc that if you are interested in helping to transcribe, this is the link, and DB says if you filled it out, please go back and fill it out again because for some reason the email option was switched off. So please go fill that out again if you want to help transcribe notes. True Grit Crime says the psychic said he'd make a great asset to the prosecution because he made his mind up and could feel the energy of all the room. Is that true? Are you joking? Get out your crystals. Oh my gosh. Bye, Rosie. Ain't no way these women and girls wouldn't have said that hobbit-sized man. I have heard so many people say that if they were going to give a descriptor about Rick Allen, you know, in passing, it would be that he was very short. Like it is unmistakable. He is short, short, short. Kristen says, are they holding the Long Island serial killer in a prison? No. Rex Heuermann is being held in a county jail, much like Brian Kohberger, much like Sarah Boone, much like Lori Vallow was, Chad Daybell, who else? The other country is generally held in a county. Rex Heuermann is what, 6'4"? He is described by witnesses as ogre-like. He is monstrously large. and he is being charged with and accused of murdering up to definitely four women, with the potential of more. That's a big, scary, dangerous man if he is guilty. And yet he's being held in a county jail, pre-trial. Odd. Odd, odd, odd. I appreciate the gifted membership. Totally enjoy the channel. Although I'm a Gen Xer, I'm with Bob Mott. Attack the timeline. Totally. Totally agree. For real. I can send the clip where Russ McQuaid speaks about it. Please do it. You can put it in the chat, actually, True Grit, if you have it, and we can just play it here and watch it all together in wide-eye amazement. Are they keeping the lady in Kentucky in prison? She was casting spells and cooking her mom. I don't know. Probably, right? I feel like anytime they keep a pretrial defendant anywhere other than prison, we hear about it generally. I mean, anywhere other than jail, we hear about it because it's so unusual. DB says Rex Heuermann is hot. Oh my God, wrong account. This is one thing witnesses can get right. Is he, oops, lost it. Is he tall or very short? Ogre man is how they describe Rex Heuermann. People who saw him. DB is actually 6'13", or some people would say 7'1". Depends on, you know, your style. BK theoretically potentially killed 4 adults with a knife in under 15 minutes, and he's not treated as dangerous. Exactly. I knew DB was a hybristophilian. Hybristophilia is a sexual paraphilia where most often women, this is the only sexual paraphilia that impacts women more than men, believe it or not. Of all the paraphilias that exist, women are more often than men considered to be hybristophilic, meaning they have sexual attraction to killers, people that are charged, or people that commit crimes, murder. I also want to thank you for the membership. I don't know who gifted it. I missed it. Regardless, thank you. Who is likely our philanthropist, humanitarian. I think Elvis Field is too tall to be bridge guy. I could be wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see, you know, to be honest, from the beginning, even before I thought Ron Logan was likely involved, I always saw Bridge Guy as an older gentleman, like not like crazy tall, but like 6 foot, 5'10". I just always saw him as like an older Midwestern guy, kind of like not maybe a little rugged. So I think Elvis Fields, from what I've seen of Elvis Fields, he looks kind of skinny, and yeah, I don't, but then again, who knows, because that picture is just a pixelated mass, you know, and it's like every frame, it looks different. It's like one of those ink blot tests that like change the more you look at it. That's how I feel like Bridge Guy is. I'm pronouncing it wrong. Yeah, I do that a lot on this channel. Hybristophiliac. Hybristophilic. I don't know how to say it. Philiac. Oh no. I'm glad I amuse you. I amuse myself. Sometimes I take words like, what was the one I always take like octopus tentacles and tendrils, and I say tendricles. I say that a lot. I get corrected a lot. Such an odd thing, Ange. I'm behind on the chat. Sorry, I was doing a blab. Amalgamation. An amalgamation. Aaron, you're absolutely right. He is. No way Richard Allen did this alone in 104 minutes. Libby outweighed him 50 pounds. I don't see it. And both girls were taller than Rick Allen. I believe both girls were like 5'6", I want to say. 5'6", and Rick Allen is 5'4" or 5'5", depending on what you're looking at. I don't have a wrench to... Someone give Gritty a wrench. I think I can do it if I pull up YouTube. I got Gritty. Don't even worry about it. Peter B says, I think that he's guilty and acted alone. I don't think he's getting a fair trial. I love that nuance of thought, Peter B. Thank you for sharing your opinion here. You are welcome here, and we appreciate you. And I think that one thing I've seen, the community that follows Delphi, I've seen a lot of people that don't agree on his guilt or innocence, but a lot of people agree that this is not a fair trial at all. You know, the transparency issues, it's sketchy, the way they're handling it. They're prejudicing him. They shouldn't have held him where they held him. I mean, I think a lot of people agree on that. And so I appreciate you sharing that. Oh, I got it, Grady. Thank you. Amazing. I'm still going to wrench you, though. Not violently wrench you. Where is she? There she is. Welcome to the cult, Grady. Although you were already in the cult. Now you're a mod. You can share it. DP wants to know, what's it called if you're attracted to women who are attracted to criminals, but you're just a regular nice guy and you just don't get to play? I think you're just a guy with a kink, DB. I think that's what we would call that. I wonder how many YouTubers made it inside today. So we know that Lana from Truth and Transparency got in, which is great. We know that I believe lawyer Lee, who is a lawyer, Harvard lawyer, with a YouTube channel, I believe she got in. And I believe Andrea Burkhart, another lawyer with a YouTube channel, got in. I don't know. Other than that, I'm not sure. Here it is. Gritty shared it. Okay. My God, they're fucking streaming. I swear to God. Thank you, Gritty. I'm going to put it up. So when does it finish for the day? Could we start the trial early? So that's a great question. A couple of us were asking that earlier. I don't know when it ends today, but they're reporting that even if jury selection finishes today or tomorrow, they will still not begin the trial or opening statements until Friday, because they have to give time for the jurors to get, you know, situated, travel and hotel arrangements, etc. So even if they finish way early, they will not begin until Friday. Indy says, am I the only one having freeze up problems? Probably not the only one. Is anyone else having freeze up problems? It's a little glitchy. I can close some of my tabbies. So thank you, True Grit. We're going to read this together like a family. When will she rule on visiting the crime scene? These are great questions, Peter B. She said that she will be doing that during pretrial hearings outside the presence of the jury. So probably before Friday. It's freezing a lot. Okay. Let me do this. Y'all don't go away. Mine's not freezing out. So we got no glitch, lots of glitch, no glitch, lots of glitch. I think I'm going to freeze. I mean, I'm going to pause. Let me just do one thing quick, just in case, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're going to share this, and they'll just let me know if at any point it isn't playing or if you don't have volume or whatever.
6 jurors. Breaking news in the Delphi double murders case. CBS 4 exclusively confirms 6 jurors have been selected so far for the trial of Richard Allen. He's charged with the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German in Delphi more than 7 years ago. He was arrested 2 years ago, and today is the first day of jury selection in the highly anticipated trial. CBS 4's Russ McQuaid has been in the Allen County Courthouse all morning long. He joins us now with an update on the selection process so far. Russ?
And a good afternoon, Melissa. Yes, 6 jurors have been chosen, leaving 6 more empty seats on that jury with room for 4 alternates who will hear the case against Richard Allen. While jury selection is all about tracking down perhaps the dozen best impartial citizens who say they will have an open mind when it comes to considering a defendant's guilt or innocence, it's also an opportunity for the defense and the prosecution to take their competing theories on the case out for a walk to see which evidence will play to that jury and has legs. Carroll County Prosecutor Nicholas McLeland went before the jurors this morning and told them, quote, Richard Allen is a bridge guy who left a bullet from his gun when he brutally murdered Abby and Libby. McLeland was referring to the images of the suspected killer captured on Libby's cell phone and the unspent bullet found near the bodies that the state says matches Allen's gun, plus the defendant's own confessions heard more than 60 times. Defense attorney Bradley Rosie says his client falsely confessed to murder scene details that never happened, that infighting between the FBI and Carroll County law enforcement left some evidence unanalyzed, and that false self-incriminating evidence can be a result of depression or mental illness or coercive incarceration. The prosecution seemed to indicate it may not have conclusive DNA or phone data or weapon evidence, and the defense laid the groundwork for keeping Allen off the witness stand. Nearly 300 people were called for this jury selection process. We've only heard from a dozen of them. 6 have been dismissed. 6 are sitting on that jury. We're about to start the second round this afternoon to come up with the rest of the jury, which will then travel to Delphi to hear the case against Richard Allen in a trial that is expected to last a month. Melissa?
Russ, before you go, we do have a few questions for you. Now, what were some of the reasons the potential jurors brought up to avoid jury duty?
Well, of course, you're going to have typical and legitimate ones. There are family members who count on them. There are job situations, financial issues. Most creative one which I ever heard in court is one man told the judge that he was psychic, that he was tapped into the emotions of the people in the courtroom, and he's already made up his mind, and his serving on this jury would be very beneficial to the prosecution.
Now, can you also describe the demeanor of the room? I mean, you've been in there for hours now, Russ. Has anything stood out to you?
Well, as I explained, when you get the 2 competing sides standing up there talking, and this is the first time we've really heard them say on the record in court, though it's been in motions, where they're laying out their case. And it was interesting to see the attorneys, both the prosecution and the defense, kind of find out from the jurors, where do you sit on this? The defense, for instance, saying to jurors, how many of you believe that the government is not necessarily always right? Whereas the prosecution is saying to the jurors, if you heard it from a man's own mouth, would you tend to give that credibility? So you can see they're both playing the same 2 sides of the evidence, but they're playing it their way, trying to get a feel for jurors on how they might perceive those types of evidence and also types of testimony.
Russ McQuaid reporting live for us in Allen County this afternoon. Thank you for your insight.
Russ, are you okay, Russ? Oh my God. Wait, is it just me or how do I go
Russ,
back?
hey,
I want to watch. Yeah,
what's up with that guy, huh?
I want to watch the beginning of that again. Can I
Poor
please?
Russ got to get up at 4 a.m. It's kind of hard, huh?
I'm about to get
So go
silly
to
again,
CBS
but I just want to watch the beginning of that again when he says, "Hey, hello." He looks like he's been going through it. It's not
He's
even
like, what, motherfucker?
It's not even 5. Oh wait, wrong one. What? Why can't
I want to give you a hug.
I can't find it. Well, anyway, that was really funny. Whew. Man. Did he say Nick McQuillian? I don't know what he said.
It's Nikolai McQuillian.
Do we know if the metal? Can you say that word, DB? Metallurgy guy is able to testify as an expert for the defense. Jim, that will be an issue. I don't think she's ruled on that or even said that she.
Nope.
She hasn't even addressed it, right?
No, that's what I said. She hasn't ruled on it. Nope.
So hopefully that will be one of the issues they litigate outside the presence of the jury between today and Friday. I hope, right? Unless, no, they wouldn't do an offer of proof on that because she has to rule on it.
I think I know why the green thing happened.
Tell me.
Anthony Rene Greeno.
Rene.
Do you think it was as green as
Anthony?
I don't know. It could be. Look into it.
Look into it. What else is here? If you're just joining, welcome. Jim is talking about the metallurgy expert.
Yeah, Jim says, let's hope so. I think it's super important. I think it is super important.
Yeah,
because
sure.
it really calls into question and I know what he's going to testify to. He's going to testify to the 2007 a NIST study in the PCAST and how he was part of a whistleblower group that called into question some of the evidence that was being used by the FBI.
Yeah. Very important. Especially
Very important.
in this case, because the bullet was not fired. The
bullet was not fired, indeed.
Scratched.
And some of you may be new here, but we appreciate you coming anyways. And I'll tell you that I am the lead executive burrito boy at Chipotle, right? But I will tell you a little bit about guns. So a lot of people will say, well, this is ballistics evidence. And you guys, if you've heard this before, I know you know who you are. We got some new people in here. Just bear with me, okay? Forensic ballistics, right? This is not a forensic ballistics case. This is a firearms toolmark examiner case where there's an AFTE, the American Federation of Toolmark Examiners, or firearm toolmark examiners. And they've said that there's certain criteria that you need to meet to be able to match a gun to a fired bullet. You need multiple points of comparison, things like an extractor mark, chamber markings, the firing pin indentation, the breech face indentations and markings on the back of the bullet, or in the back of the round, and the rifling impressions via lands and grooves on the actual bullet once the bullet is fired. And sometimes you'll see it, you'll see bullets and evidence in case and say, wow, it must be like a fingerprint, for a bullet. The different markings left on a bullet. Well, we have hundreds, thousands, millions of fingerprints in the system in AFIS that all can be electronically scanned and examined to determine how unique a particular fingerprint is and compare it to all different kinds of fingerprints very quickly. That's not what happens here. There's a federal system called NIBIN and IBIS, IBIS, and NIBIN. And you may think, wow, they do the same thing. Not quite. It's a little bit more complicated. But the thing that is missing here is that AFTE's theory of examination requires multiple points of comparison, right? And the issue here is that this is an extractor mark. So that's one point of comparison. So even if a lot of people will make an argument that this is junk science, right? No, they're not even doing the junk science. Junk science here would be that they take in multiple points of comparison and determine if this unspent round matched. That'd be junk science. But the AFTE doesn't even train this model of single point comparisons. So you would never, in a study, they would never say that there's just one single part. There's just one single thing that proves that it's a match. You can look it up in their public training documents. And then Andy Cindy says, and over time, the marks change as magazines are used over the years. Well, a lot of magazines are made with steel, right? Iron. And it's a very hard metal. And the parts of a gun, such as the extractor chamber, are also made with steel, tool steel. A lot of the parts, very, very, very hard. And Iran, no, not the country, the state. Now when you have two different things that are interacting with another, two different materials, the harder material will leave a mark on the softer material. And those are types of things that forensic metallurgists look at when they do things like explosives reconstructions, bombing reconstructions, forensic tool mark examinations. They know what type of materials are present in an object and how those materials change how they interact with one another. So he's got some really great expertise, and I think their theory is going to be, the prosecution's theory is going to be that he cannot testify to this because he's not a forensic tool mark examiner or forensic firearms tool mark examiner. But that's like saying that you can't testify to IgG being inaccurate because you're a DNA expert. Like, yeah, I'm saying the IgG is inaccurate because you did the DNA wrong. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to the ruling, and they cited the Caden Smith case. If you guys don't know, the Caden Smith case was a shooting, a triple homicide. That means there was a gun fired. They used multiple points of comparison for each of them because they had multiple points of comparison. And the tool mark examiner in that case was Puznek with Indiana Metropolitan Police. I don't want to say IMPD. And there's a long time case that pretty much fucks every defendant with tool mark evidence called State v. Turner. In State v. Turner, there was two tool mark examiners. They found some unspent rounds, some spent rounds during a very, very awful shooting. And after recovering them, they tried to match them to see if these unspent rounds could be matched to another round at a house, right? At another house. Didn't have the gun, didn't have anything else, just these two crime scenes with some evidence they found, right? So what they end up doing is testing it, but the examiners are like, yeah, these don't match. We can't do this. So they find another examiner, right? And the other examiner says, no, these don't match. There's nothing that says these match. We can't do this. They find a third examiner, right? And he says, guess what? No match. Don't think so. He scribed his initials on the brass on the round. And then later he comes back and says, you know, this little mark right here, right by my initials, you know, I think that's actually a tool mark left by the gun. Yep. And that examiner was the state's examiner in the Caden Smith case. The same examiner. So State v. Turner and Caden Smith v. Indiana have the same state witness for firearm tool marks. Wonder if that's going to come up on why they're using. It's not going to come up in the trial, but maybe in a motion on the motion to eliminate for the yeah, Fluffy Bunny says, I'm still confused why Oberg fired the rounds from Ari's gun. Because she had to. She's an AFTE examiner at the time. Why did she have to? Because that's the requirement of AFTE examiners. They have to fire the rounds and enter the evidence from 3 test fires and send them to IBIS and NIBIN so they can be cataloged by the federal government. And you cannot compare a fired round to an unfired round. That's right. Because what?
But they did in this case, right?
It seems that they did.
Yeah.
Because in the examination report, in the certification of analysis, it says that they did 3 test fires. It doesn't say they manually cycled any rounds.
Yeah.
And the issue with that is there is a step in the process of firing a gun called obturation. When you fire a gun, the primer explodes and the charge that's inside of the brass of the round explodes and presses the shell casing, the soft brass, against the wall of the test chamber, or the firearms chamber, and it seals tightly. So there's no gas blowback, or so there's gas blowback that sends the slide back. And that's not only another point of comparison you can make, but it also changes the way and the force into which the gun operates. Answer 42 says, how does DB know so much about everything? See, I just happen to work at Chipotle, right? Outside of a very, very smart group of people. There's a lot of offices, and these smart people come in and I say, hey, how's it going? Have you heard about the criminal case against Richard Allen? They say, pinto beans, motherfucker. I say, okay, fine. Damn, dude. All right. Sorry, I forgot to ask. Did you want the pinto beans in a bowl or So we're up to 11 now? 7 women, 4 men? I say make it all women. Get rid of the men. Now,
11 jurors now, DB.
do you think these men are going to try to mansplain bullets to the women during deliberation?
Absolutely.
And it might be effective because, unfortunately, in society, mansplaining exists and dudes use it all the time. I'm using it right now. I'm mansplaining to all these smart women in chat. You know what I mean?
I think you're explaining. You're explaining and you're doing it in a way that's moderately easy to understand.
Nice. And then Indy Cindy says, people need to go to the NIJ website, the National Institute of Justice, or the DOJ. Well, if they don't consider that good evidence, why would they put that in the search warrant for Ron Logan?
Subpoena Dukas take him.
What? Are you fucking insane, dude?
Seeing if all the ADH people are still here, sorry.
We have an update. 11 people have been chosen to sit on the jury. It's the only update. Okay. That's good. So they seem to have gone really fast this morning, and it's slowed down a little bit this afternoon, maybe, I think.
Here we have a live feed from the court. Oh, this is what it looks like.
It's so weird there's no video or audio. It's such a bummer, you know? Yes, Fluffy Bunny. Oops. They need 12 jurors and 4 alternates. So 1 more juror and then 4 alternates, yeah. Yep. I wonder what it oh, okay. I wonder what it means that the jury selection process seemed to go really fast this morning. And kind of slowed down a little bit today. I mean, this afternoon, as the afternoon has gone on. So let's see what people are saying about Delphi on X. If you missed the update, we've got 11 jurors selected. I don't know the demographics of the newly selected juror, but we know that before that update, we had 6 women and 4 men. And now we have 6 women, 4 men, and an unknown gender of the 11th juror. So, we've got people are, oops, pretty upset. Oh, there's me. Pretty upset about the lack of public access in this trial. Here's a trial schedule. So clarification, Thursday is expected to be a day of motions pertaining to the trial. So that would likely be the day when they're talking about the Tobin issue, the crime scene visitation issue. And if y'all excuse me for 2 seconds, I need to shut this window because it just got super loud. I'll be right back. Okay. Let's see what Donnie said. As of 3 p.m. Monday, another juror, a woman, has been elected, bringing the total to 11 out of 12, with 4 alternates still needed. 11 jurors selected. Let's see if this is a new video. I can't wait for those ads to be gone. Constantly. Skip. Okay. Can y'all not hear this? Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Okay, let's try again. Try again. Sorry, it was so loud on my end.
And we begin today at noon with the beginning phase of the Delphi murders trial. It is finally here. It has been more than 7 years since the bodies of Abby Williams and Libby German were found near the Monon High Bridge in Delphi. The trial for suspect Richard Allen begins this week, starting with jury selection. It's taking place in Fort Wayne, and it all started this morning. So here's a look now at the latest mugshot of Richard Allen. This was released very recently. Allen's accused of killing Abby Williams and Libby German back in 2017. Now here's what is expected to happen today. The court sent questionnaires to 600 Allen County residents who are being considered for the Delphi jury. That's where the jury's coming from, Allen County. 16 will be selected, 12 jurors and 4 alternates. Both the prosecution and defense teams will get a chance to strike 10 potential jurors for any reason. Others will be dismissed for a variety of reasons. So the process will last up to 3 days. Once that jury is sworn in, they'll be sequestered, which means they will be isolated from the public to prevent being tainted. We'll have full team coverage throughout the trial, and you can get up to speed with the major moments and developments throughout this case. We have our Delphi trial special.
Okay. 7 women, 4 men selected for the State versus Richard Allen trial. I thought he was wearing this sign. Yeah, he does look like he's wearing the puffy shirt. Okay, so that's our most recent update. It is 3:36 p.m. in Allen County, Indiana, I believe. I wonder how long they will go today. Little Biddle says, I forgot the jury was going to be sequestered. And they won't. So they'll go from being sold there tomorrow to hopefully not reading up on the case between. I mean, if most juries are not sequestered, so generally we trust jurors not to do their own research. Taryn Dusky asks, did I read that they will have court on Saturdays? I believe they will have court on Saturdays, Monday through Saturday, all day. They'll be sequestered at a hotel nearby, I think it's like 30 minutes away. Criminal Network is hilarious. Saturday is included. Back to our hashtag. Oh God. Tor. Sorry, I need a minute. Tor, if you're in here, you're killing me. Gutted. No, Tor. Ugh, Kyla Russell says, update. 11 of 12 jurors. All I did was tell him to go get some rest. Hey, Shay. Oh, gosh. Here's your quick update. I can update you super fast. So they've been in jury selection all day. They have chosen 11 of 12 jurors. 7 are women. No, Yes, 7 are women, 4 are men, varying occupations. They've got a nurse, a counselor, a couple people have family members. One is a retired man. Of the jurors they dismissed, one of them did not like the color green, and the other one believed they had psychic abilities and could read the energy of the room. And what else? That's the brief update. And Tor got blocked by Gray Hughes. That's the most recent update. So 11 of 12 jurors have been chosen, including that one more spot to make 12. 4 replacements also needed. I'll have more updates here soon. Do I follow you? I do now. Okay. If you're not following Catastrophe, y'all, you should go follow Catastrophe. I'm gonna drop her link. She's awesome and hilarious, and also very smart. So interesting. The hashtag on Twitter, you know, it's not a bloodlusty, you know, hang him in the gallows. Yes, Shay, one of the jurors purported to not like the color green. I don't know how or why that came up, but Allen County is Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, Murky Piglet. So it's almost 4 o'clock there. They'll probably go till 8. WTHR reported that the counselor is a school counselor. So they have a little training in mental health, but not a ton. True Grit says, I would think they can go home to grab their belongings, spend time with their family before the trial starts. At least I hope so. Yep. Royal Wee says, well done, Tor. Does everybody know what the snowman analogy is referencing? It's funny. Nick McClellan, the prosecutor in the Richard Allen case, has tried how many? One felon. Thank you, DB. One felony murder case before, and that case we read some of the transcript from that trial together, and we had a blast doing it. Not to make light of a very serious, tragic crime. Speaking of crime, though, Nick McClellan should probably not be prosecuting cases. Why? Give me a minute and I will find it. Since we're here anyway. Have you heard the plan by the RA's guilty squad renting hotel rooms where the jury will be in order to eavesdrop and interact with the jury? No, I haven't heard that plan. That's not going to happen. And if it does, that's a great way to get yourself arrested and thrown in jail. Like, people are so silly. I hope that doesn't happen. Be a really silly thing if that was the plan, to go around telling people too, you know? I think a lot of times people...
That's fucking illegal.
...say things to, like, get people spun up and nervous. Rex says, so they go home, pack, look up the case. Hopefully your channel is still in the Delphi search algorithm. It's not. It's definitely not. That's okay. Oh, yeah.
Just wanted to share this photo of me. Some people were saying that I don't know shit about guns and bullets and stuff. So if you guys see this here, this is me before the team and I touched down in Mogadishu. So run and tell that.
Run and tell that. That's right. I don't know what that place is that you said, DB, but it sounds really important and you know, serious. Sounds serious.
No, it's pretty serious.
Okay, I think this is it. Oh my God. Hold on. Share. I don't know if anyone wants to see this or if they'll think it's funny. I think it's funny.
If there was there a snowman there?
No, there was no.
And I've been gone.
When you left for spring break, the yard was empty. It was dry. You went on spring break. You come back. There's a big puddle in the front yard, 2 sticks, and a carrot in that puddle.
I have no idea.
No idea? Come back from spring break, 2 sticks, a carrot, and a scarf.
Wait, I'm starting to still believe it's a snowman because...
Firmly convinced?
No, because I didn't see a snowman there before.
Okay, come back, puddle, 2 sticks, a carrot, a scarf, and a top hat.
The snowman.
Somebody was trespassing.
Yeah,
Somebody was security traffic.
Firmly convinced?
I mean, if there was no snowman there before, but then all the stuff for a snowman was there, I would think.
You're making an assumption.
Okay, I'm sorry, real quick. This man said examples were his thing.
Oh my God. What? Oops. So that's probably how jury selection is. I hope it goes better than that.
Yeah, he literally said, "Hey guys, examples are my thing. Suffer through the worst example."
He said it like over and over and over. Oh man, that was fun. That was a fun time. Fiend was a really good Nick McClelland too, don't you think?
Yeah, insufferable, both of them.
Yeah, so really good. I liked Mr. Pancake. Examples are kind of my thing, he said. Kara Winnicky is clearing up a misunderstanding for us. I'm going to share it. There's a lot of confusion over whether the Delphi jurors are actually seated or simply made it to the next round. Hopefully I can clear that up. In Indiana, if I am summoned to jury duty, here's how it usually goes. I show up in the courtroom. The judge likely asks those of us in the courtroom if we have any disqualifiers like health, age, etc. Those who do may be asked a few questions and then excused. Of those remaining, the court will call up enough to fill the jury box. The parties will ask questions of those in the jury box, and afterwards they'll inform the court of any challenges for cause and any peremptory strikes. Those who are successfully challenged or struck will be excused by the court. Those who were not excused are members of the jury. They will not be questioned again. They are on the jury. Also, the alternates will know their alternates throughout the trial. They will not be selected at random later. Oh my God. LD. Sarah Hubbard. God, that you call her that. Ugh. In some states, yeah. So Indy Cindy says, here in my state, we get shuffled to next round. Yeah, I've seen a couple of people say that in their state. They have like multiple rounds. Interesting. So these 11 are on the jury.
He moves the chin back a little bit so these gentlemen can get through.
Richard Allen Whiteside, because he lived on Whiteside Drive in Delphi. And so
Barbara.
Go ahead, Barbara.
These guys are on overtime. Go ahead, Barbara.
He was there. Oh, I want to read this from the
Richard Allen Whiteside, because he lived on Whiteside Drive.
They didn't write that, did they? This is a different planet. Hassan Whiteside used to be a center for the Miami Heat in 2017.
In Delphi.
They were Robert Weeman because he lived on Robert Weeman.
She said it
White
twice. What?
Side because he lived on
Richard.
Whiteside Drive in Delphi. They might have been following up on a Richard Whiteside.
Get up in the chair. You can't show weakness right now. People are attacking you online. Crawl if you can. Get some strength. Get some strength, you human jellyfish. Fiend. No, he didn't.
And so had anybody followed up on it, they might have been following up on a Richard Whiteside.
I can't hear her say it again.
Is he checking for receipts? Who? Gray Hughes? This motherfucker lost a CVS receipt that was stapled to his chest.
Oh man. Mr. Whiteside. Mr. Richard Whiteside.
And I like Barbara. I'm good friends with Barbara.
Yeah, she's great.
And it didn't mean, I didn't mean to hurt her feelings if that was mean, but
I don't think it was mean. I tweeted at her. I told her it was all in good fun. I said of all the ridiculous things on that stream, her mispronouncing one word was hardly the most ridiculous thing.
oh God, Kira, like literally, people are like, why is DB so mean to Ange?
He's really not. Well, I don't know. I don't think so. All I hear is the Killer song, Mr. Brightside. DB, why are you so mean to Ange? Let's unpack it.
Wanted.
Whiteside.
I think Andrea got in because she hasn't tweeted anything. Good.
You say Bob.
We love you all. We love you all.
Don't kiss me, Bob.
Hi, Emily.
He's
I don't know.
smooching me.
Why? Is he Italian? He's probably Italian. Bob Mata sounds Italian. We're kissers. Wrong bit. Spoons in the trash. BR.
Get out of the trash. You say Boone's in the trash? What is he doing? Going through Nicholas McClelland's discovery file? Get out of there, boy. There's some good evidence in there. Get out of here. What bit do you want?
Here's what I'm thinking, DB. I'm thinking
We'll just come back in a little
I
bit.
need to eat lunch. What?
You need to have a
What was that?
lunch.
Yeah, I need to do a lunch. I haven't done a lunch. Do we think I should do a stream later on? Should I wait and see what the plan is? What do we? Well, y'all, I'm gonna go eat lunch. I guess if you're not following me on Twitter, that was not nice. Here's my Twitter. I will do updates there throughout the day. Or I could just go eat lunch and keep this stream going and come back. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let's see. Boone is looking for the box cutter. Fiend says, I presume from the lack of Twitter updates, nobody made it in with their electronic spyglasses. That's probably true. I was excused from a jury once for telling the judge I could find my own Easter eggs. Nice. Hi. Teresa. Ty. Someone is streaming at some point. Okay. Well, when we know, we'll know, but I will update. Eat here with us. And if we have anything major to report, we will do it on Twitter or X, or maybe I'll do a YouTube post. I always forget about community posts on YouTube. Also, make sure you're following. I shared All Eyes already, but I will share again our All Eyes on Delphi resource hub. and Twitter account. Oops. And I will see y'all later on.